interesting. But it's it never is, but it amuses him greatly, and so we just go with it.
Hey man, let's get dangerous out of nowhere and then move on. Don't come.
Different strokes for different folks. If you guys want some of that Celine Dion, that's on you.
Mark's kind of a psychopath, so we just let him go.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something about Celine Dion. Celine Dion's like the best Jello in the world, right? You know, there's always room for more. You're never going to get full on Jello. You'll never get full on Celine Dion. She is a national, no international treasure. How dare all three of you, before we went live, were making fun of her the way you were. That was unfortunate. I'm just saying she's fantastic.
I don't care for Jello.
You get banned twice.
Anyways, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's going to be one of those kind of nights. We got a lot to do, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit the button and start our kick-ass theme song, and we'll be right back with you with more Celine Dion talk here on What's on Joe Mind. Stay with us. Everybody.
Yeah.
It's Tuesday night. It's 9:05 p.m. Thank you for staying tuned here on the Superstation after that big Sanford and Son marathon. It's time for What's on Joe Mind. We are a fan cast about the world of G.I. Joe. How's everybody doing tonight?
Ooh.
Okay.
Fantastic is what I'll say.
All right, good. I'm glad somebody actually answered the question. I'm your host, Mike Irizarry. Joining me here in the top row. We're pushing right through tonight because we had a lot.
Yeah.
A lot on the plate tonight. He's the former head of marketing for the G.I. Joe brand at Hasbro. It's the Hot Show, Mark Weber.
Yeah, former head of marketing on Transformers 2, baby. Don't sell me short.
We don't care about them. Stupid robots.
I got a lot done in a very short amount of time.
Congratulations on Titan Wars and everything, but
right?
Combiner Wars, but
Combiner Wars. Titan Wars wasn't legally cleared.
Okay. They tried to get it.
And the gal who followed me didn't bother to check on that. And that's why we had to explain that away at a certain BotCon. Titan's Return, though, totally legally available.
All right.
There you go.
Now we know. And knowing in that case is really only about 28% of the battle.
Pretty much, right? Yeah. It's like the show business thing. Don't work with the kids or animals, right? It's a toy business thing. Don't follow the web, baby. Don't follow the web.
I mean, anyway, I would imagine that your kids say that most of the time.
Pretty much.
Just being your children and all.
Yeah. Maybe one of them will show up. Never know.
It's entirely likely.
Who knows where they are? I mean, come on.
Whose jersey are we broadcasting back there tonight?
Oh, this is good. Let me flip it. Oh. Dog sleeping behind the chair. Hang on.
That sounded like one of your kids.
Okay.
Wow.
I didn't know you were there.
Why? What question is? Why are one of his kids on the floor like that?
Right.
Not cool.
Doyers.
And now the cat to check on the dog.
Well, I mean, he's concerned, right?
So Emma was sitting right behind the chair. And when I went to get up, I rolled her paw a little bit. So if you want to check on her, go ahead. Nope.
Live TV, baby.
You say Mark's
dog,
children.
Cat.
You mention Mark's children and they appear.
Daughter, look at that. She's checking on the dog. Who's fine?
The cat, however, requires your attention. He's traumatized.
He'll be here for a while. But yeah, anybody, you know who Rodriguez number 3 on the Dodgers was?
Yes.
Yes, James.
A baseball player.
That's Benny the Jet Rodriguez was number 3.
From the Sandlot.
Yeah.
Right.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Right?
For as much as everybody loves the Sandlot, I don't get the big deal. Like, it was fine. I don't hate it, but I don't understand why it's so beloved.
I watched it once in the theater.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I dug the Sandlot. And I don't have a Dodgers jersey, and it was cheap. So, okay, fair.
But anyways, best wishes to Emma as she heals from Mark's terrible abuse.
Yeah, she's fine. Don't sit behind the rolling chair, Emma.
In the bottom row, he was our eyes and ears at this year's recently completed San Diego Comic-Con. We owe him quite a bit. The channel grew by -1 subscribers during the weekend as we posted all of his pictures.
Oh, yeah.
But Phil Donnelly is on the program.
That's the Donnelly bump, baby.
Right?
Right? Kill one off. Drop a subscriber.
Can't spell Donnelly without done.
We're pruning the chaff from the wheat.
We had pretty good growth on Instagram, which makes sense. And Twitter, we got 10 or 20 porn robots to subscribe. So I'll consider that a win.
It's best kind of robot.
Sure.
Right? So again, be sure to check out all of Phil's handiwork and lots of official photos, too, from everything that happened in the G.I. Joe world at our Instagram account, at What's on Joe Mind on Instagram.
I had about 10 minutes where they pulled the case off the HasLab display and tried to get as many pictures as they could up close in that moment.
Yes, they're there. There's no reflection. There's no glare. It's
nice
just Phil and the Rattler and a camera. And try not to pay attention to the ones where he's naked.
Did anybody try to steal the patches while they had the chance?
No.
Okay.
Maybe Patches O'Houlihan, but he was too busy getting crushed under the weight of irony.
Right.
But and our real guest tonight, as you can see plainly from his "Who Would Win" backdrop, that's hell of a banner right there. What'd you pay for that?
I paid $0 for that. That was created for free by someone who I can't remember, but whoever that is, thank you.
He is the co-host, along with Ray Stakanis of the Who Would Win podcast. James Gavsey is on the program this evening.
Thank you. You're all very lucky to have me on today, and I'm here to spread joy and mirth and to talk all things about what you guys deem important.
That's how it works, because really we would just cut you out if you didn't. So
you guys have the power. I'm fully aware.
So, I mean,
can you click on Dave McDonald's post real quick?
Dave McDonald wants to know, did they have a bug secretly on display?
No, but below the display, if you looked inside, you would have seen reeds sticking up, because apparently they also shipped the wrong display with their landing strip, because that was actually part of the old Pursuit of Cobra display from way back in 2010 San Diego Comic-Con. And if you recall, that was Pursuit of Cobra with all 4 different environments. So there was a hidden display underneath.
It is safe to say, Phil, that you're the only person that remembered that.
I had to piece that together. No. John Warden was the one that brought that up.
Well,
I asked why there was plants underneath the Rattler.
Well, and Warren would know, right? Pursuit of Cobra was his baby.
Right. He had an excuse, Phil. He worked on it. You have no excuse. That's too far. Even for us, that's too far. But that's why he's our substitute host. That's why he's here filling in for Ragtime Rob, because he knows stuff. It's really not because he did so much work for us this past weekend.
Yeah.
We've had James booked for a couple of weeks. We just kept kicking him back, but now we finally got him in, and it just so happens to be the week after the big San Diego Comic-Con events and reveals and all that cool stuff. So he's here, and Phil is here, and Mark's cat Colin is here. We're loaded up at this point. I don't think we're gonna get any better than this. So don't be surprised if I just cut out early.
By the way, I was also at Comic-Con.
Right, but how many photos did you send us? None.
You said you didn't like the pictures I was sending. Then I sent more. You said you would beat my ass if you ever saw me in person. Then I stopped. I'm sorry. I felt threatened.
Oh. Mark is. I didn't do that to Mark. By
See,
the way,
Mark felt threatened and he left. This is what you do, Mike. We've talked about this.
Mark's power went out or something. I don't know what the hell happened there, but we'll hang in there. We'll hopefully get more from the honcho as the night goes on. Anyhow, it's just going to be that kind of night, isn't it? We're just gonna lose hosts. Well, I mean, we did have plenty, but we lost 2 in one window there with Mark and the cat. I mean, that's not good. That's a bad. May have to pull Rack Time Rob out of the mothballs.
Zombie host.
He's on the mend. He had some issues last week that he had to deal with, but he'll be back. So everybody quit complaining. You'll get Phil and you'll like Phil.
No.
Mark Weber, what the heck happened?
Man, I don't know what happened. I'm getting old now because now more often than not, I can't fix something technological.
Right.
So I don't know. I plug it back in, unplug, replug it. It worked. All right. Was not the cat's fault. He didn't do nothing.
No, he was in the same place where you left. So we knew he was not deviously scheming anything.
Nah, who knows? Maybe it'll happen again.
Right. We were right about to start community calendar, but you came back right in time.
Did I miss any Darkwing Duck talk?
No.
Okay, good.
No, not yet. That's segment 3. That's after the San Diego review.
Negative.
Anyways, it's time for community calendar. Community calendar brought to you by the wonderful folks at Roma Collectibles. Remember to visit Roma Collectibles, the toy store, out in Springfield, Ohio on Upper Valley Pike. They are closed Monday and Tuesday. They are there 12 to 7 Wednesday through Saturday, 12 to 5 Sunday. Always buying collections, big, small, and otherwise. Just remember, you see our patrons there, our staff in the photo. Don't make direct eye contact. That just gets them fighting. Oh, what? Oh, rare eye contact from Colin in the camera there. That's
right when you said don't make direct eye contact. He's like, eat it, human. Yeah.
Right. He's like, you take that. I'll fight you, Roma Collectibles. Anyways,
is there a lot of violence in this show? Is there? I mean, I'm.
There's a reason we all have to do this from different parts of the country.
Right.
Only when the cat shows up, which is rare.
So that's a strong yes.
Increasingly not rare.
I mean, I did roll over the dog. I guess that's
probably why he's being affectionate towards you tonight.
Right. He's like, hey,
he hurt the dog too. All right.
You marked something off my to-do list. You whipped the dog's ass. Solid.
Coming up this weekend, or I guess next weekend, Central Florida Collector Fest happening August 10th and 11th. That is out in Lakeland, Florida. You can see all the important bullet points down at the bottom. Free parking, free Hot Wheels for kids. They got toy giveaways, 15,000 square feet of toys, games, die-cast cars, and more. And if you're anywhere in the Sunshine State, you don't have an excuse. Get on out to the Central Florida Collector Fest. If you see Eric from Collectors or from Surveillance Port, you give him a hug. That is worth 0% on admission. I don't know what admission is on this. I got no information on that.
Just go down to Lime Street to the RuPaul Funding Center, and you're right there.
Usually for these Florida shows, it's $5, but don't hold me to that.
Adam Riches will sneak you in for a Royal Guard figure. Doesn't even need accessories.
Is that worth $5?
I mean, for Adam Riches, you bet.
I mean, I guess now they're all worth $5 because thank you, eBay. But
I mean, you and him are kind of kindred spirits, right? Because for him, any Royal Guard is worth having.
Yeah, so, but I mass collect a good character.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I'm not going to argue that. Oh no, I'm going to defend Cobra Law. Brr.
Phil, you going to be at this one?
Seeing as it's thousands of miles away from me, probably not. No.
So San Diego's good enough for you to travel to, but not Lakeland, Florida.
Exactly. Yes.
So I'm assuming James is in the same boat because he's far too Hollywood for that one.
That is correct.
All right. Canadians melt in Florida.
Canadians thrive in Florida, but the people from LA don't.
Yeah, redheads too.
Redheads don't melt in Florida. Redheads burst into flame in Florida.
Phil, would you cheat on Disneyland with Disney World if given the opportunity?
I've done that twice.
And
I'd do it again.
Did Disneyland take you back both times?
That's right.
Good to be the king.
Disneyland's got low self-esteem.
Mm.
Anyways.
So wrong. So wrong.
Oh, God. Next up, August 17th, we got another one of those inside pitch promotion shows. That is happening at the Metro Convention Center out in Hickory. That's happening from 9 to 4. $5 gets you in the door. Kids 12 and under are free because, I mean, somebody's got to get those kids off the street. The only way they can do that is to make them no charge. Free parking at all shows. Get more information at insidepitchpromo.com.
Remember, it's not in Cedar, Pine, or Douglas Fir, North Dakota. It's in
Hickory. Hickory. Sorry, I had something in live chat and I lost it. Oh,
Former Yankee Caleb Ferguson will be signing autographs.
Former Yankee?
Yeah. He's gone.
Oh, they let him go?
They traded him. The Astros wanted him. And we're like, God damn, maybe we'll see him in the playoffs.
Jesus. That's troubling.
Mm.
Jesus is playing baseball? That's amazing.
If you're an Astros fan.
Right. I'm not upset to see him go.
Mm.
But okay. All right. Who'd they receive for Caleb Ferguson? Who do you
Not much.
Okay. All right. So just they're just cash considerations and a nothing prospect then, huh?
$26 a pack of smokes and a couple of those Post-it note packets that they're always losing around the office.
And a new United States Postal Service Tiamat stamp. That's good.
For when you need a 5-headed dragon. Get your
Why don't you?
Not to completely segue, but the fact that Dungeons and Dragons went from being proclaimed as Satan's game and parents were rioting in the streets over it in the 80s to the United States Postal Service putting out a stamp, an official stamp of their official, baddest ass evil character. This is not a bad 40-year turnaround. Somebody knows what he's doing with Dungeons and Dragons.
That's
making toys.
Pretty good turn for one generation.
Mm-hmm.
But moving forward, we've also got the Fort Wayne Hobby and Collectible Show. That is happening August 25 out at the Allen County Fairgrounds in Fort Wayne, Indiana. If you don't want the community calendar to get clogged up with Indiana shows, then maybe some more people ought to send me some community calendar shows. That's all I'm saying. Because that's all we get is Indiana shows from here on out. That's it.
Martian Manhunter's agent would like a word because that representation is not much.
He's got the same agent as Mike Wazowski.
Apparently.
Right. If without the community part, community calendar turns into shit Mike might drive to real quick.
Mm.
Scotty Z70 notes that, those stamps will send your mail to hell.
Probably.
Let's hope. I know it gets rerouted through there. That's why everything I order shows up a couple days after Rob's does.
Isn't that FedEx?
It's whoever. It's FedEx. It doesn't matter. On reveal days and We will order at the same time, often from same website, and probably 8 times out of 10, Rob shit shows up first. I don't understand.
It's alphabetic.
Sure.
You pissed off a postal worker somewhere along the way. That's what it is.
Maybe.
I got a Hands for Pulse story. We'll save it for later.
Okay. Also happening, if you're in the southern half of Indiana, not just a northern Indiana community calendar, we also get southern Indiana. It's the Indiana Toy and Comic Expo out at the Monroe County Convention Center in Bloomington. Beautiful country down there. 10 to 4, $8 gets you in the door. Kids 12 and under, also free. I can vouch for there being packs of children 12 and under roaming the streets of Bloomington, Indiana. Really, they've taken over all of Brown County. So please come and take one home. You can get more information at IndianaToyAndComicExpo.com. It's a big show without a whole lot of guests. They really like to pack in the dealers. They like to get you as much stuff as possible. They don't like wasting their time with celebrities.
They think they're better than us.
Maybe. Phil, you getting out to this one?
Again, no.
I will be there, actually.
All right.
Nice.
Stepping up to the plate.
Yeah. No. Oh, sorry. The Indiana one. No, I'm not going to be there.
No. All right. Fair enough. I'm probably not going either. Fair enough. I'm probably not going either.
You're like next door, man.
But it's an hour and a half. We'll see. We'll see.
Just Rob will drive. You can nap. No?
Okay. There's a reason I drive everywhere.
Is Rob a bad driver, or are you a control freak, or C, all of the above?
Driver chooses the music, and you can't stand his choice of songs.
That's fair. Driver chooses the temperature too, right?
Well, that's we don't argue a whole lot on that. We're both favor of meat locker conditions in the car, so that's fine.
Rocky does his workouts in the back seat.
Punching meat.
Right. I see people advertising shows in live chat. That doesn't do me any good for community calendar. Send it to whatsonjoemind@gmail.com. You have something for community calendar. That's where it needs to go. What's
that email address again, Mike?
That's whatsonjoemind@gmail.com. It's going to come up again.
Lovely. Oh.
James Gavsey, what's that email?
What's on Joe Mind @gmail.com.
There you go. See, James Gavsey knows. He's been here like 20 minutes.
Listen, I know quality when I see it, and that is a quality email address.
Right? There's no numbers in there.
No.
Send your question.
No dashes.
Send your questions to 1-877 cars for kids. Okay.
I should boot you just for that.
I almost got run. I was so close.
It's not what's on Joe Mind 69@gmail.com. It's none of that shit.
No.
That's his personal email.
You'd be amazed how many orders I fill at Valaverse where the email address is something you would never put on like a job application.
Right.
God, it's all like demand 69 with 2 N's or the whipper or come on, dude.
That may say something. Oh, now I went after Bjorn the Viking, but it's his first time here, and now I feel terrible. I'm sorry,
All
Bjorn
right.
the Viking.
Listen,
Please
Bjorn's a
please
powerful
stay
being.
with us. Come back.
Yeah. Bjorn's a good guy, powerful guy. We know him from the Who Would Win show. He will kill you while you're sleeping, by the way. So I'd say just keep him on your good side.
Look, don't threaten me with a good time.
You can tell his quality because his real email is just dave.brown05@gmail.com. And that's totally
you can tell he's quality because he's here Tuesday night at 9 for What's on Joe Mind.
That's fair.
For the discerning collector.
And because I feel bad, I'll put up his show. Wicked Comic on Saturday, August 10th to Sunday, August 11th in Boston, Mass. Not an Indiana one. Oh, well, we won't hold that against it.
Wicked Comic Con.
Danny of our time has some good advice for you.
Donate your car today.
That's not how it goes. Sing it, Mike.
that-
Sing it,
no.
Mike.
No.
Because if I sing it, I'll get run.
Yes.
Okay.
Dustin Jeffrey notes, at least it wasn't if you have a structured settlement and you need cash now. See, I still laugh at that one. I still laugh at the big Viking comes out at the end. I mean, how do you can't beat that. That's a great comedy beat.
And they're all on a city bus for some reason.
Right. It doesn't matter. The Viking always comes out at the end. It doesn't matter where the rest of the commercial is set.
Nothing's worse than dancing Jardiance woman. Ugh. Go away.
You and Rob can get together and chat about that one next week.
Ugh.
Hey, James, does this look familiar?
Ooh.
No, what is that?
You know, was on your show. It's been a couple of weeks now, and I still continue to plug the episode because my ego refuses to let the show that I'm the guest star on get fewer listens than your other shows. Even though I'm not going to pull it off, I'm going to keep plugging, damn it.
I'll tell you what, Mike, a lot of people liked you as the guest judge for who would win. They like your decision-making process. They like your storytelling and how you come to a decision between, for example, Goliath and The Witcher. They disagree sometimes with your outcome and who you give the win to. For example, in the episode of Goliath versus The Witcher, but still they appreciated what you did on the Goliath versus The Witcher.
See, I don't
think it was the wrong decision.
I don't think people disagreed with my decision. I think you disagreed with the decision. And believe me, you had to really fumble hard if I'm going to give Ray Stacanis a win.
Listen, Ray doesn't have a lot going on. Let's just face it. And we want him to have nice things. And you recognize that and you gave it to him. Good for you. We love it. Fantastic. You know, violence playing in the background. You're crying. Ray, this is for you. You know, and Ray's all happy and dancing around his house. I'm just like, this is not cool whatsoever, Mike. But, you know, you're a good guest judge. So we'll leave it at that.
I usually bring the fire on Ray, and I wasn't able to do that because he constructed a far more cohesive and convincing argument for his charge. But I won't mention who that is. You have to go listen to it yourself. So go listen to the Who Would Win podcast and all of its other surrounding episodes with other lesser guest hosts. It's hosted by our friend James and Ray Stacanis, who you may know from a special edition we did a couple of Thanksgivings ago. And I this time I am judging the epic battle between Goliath and The Witcher. My first appearance, it was Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel.
See, that was an episode where, look, no offense, I think you were just, you know, there. You didn't know Ray, you didn't know me, and you were just like, hey, let me just do an honest, great job. I don't feel bad for either one of them, although James is clearly the more handsome and guy with more going on. But the thing is, then you came back and you're like, what's going on? Anyway, I'm just gonna say that episode, your first appearance was fantastic. You did the right thing. You gave the fans what they wanted. Second time, you gave the fans what a great performance, but what they wanted, I'm not so sure, Mike.
I'm just saying, I did know Ray. So I mean, I had been on Knowing Is Half the Podcast by that point. He had been on our show by that point. So I did know Ray. And so that was probably just more of a signal that you had that one in the bag.
Were you crying in the shower in the fetal position, trying to scrub off like all the dirty feelings you had by, giving the decision to that certain individual who wasn't me, representing a certain character that wasn't the character I was representing in the Goliath versus the Witcher episode of Who Would Win? Yeah,
yes,
I figured.
I did. I felt that I did it for the right reasons.
Yeah,
but it did make me feel quite dirty.
Yeah, I appreciate you sending me the video, by the way. That was tasteful.
Yeah. I believe that was the longest sentence ever uttered on What's on Joe Biden. Can I buy a comma?
Stay tuned. It's going to get longer.
Right? Yeah, gauntlet thrown.
You see, I think I've beaten that, but most of mine is just a pregnant pause. I just kind of stop in the middle and drift off. And then I come back a couple minutes later. That's more my speed.
We need a pop-up ellipsis for the bottom, right? Just to add to the Ferguson awkward pause.
I'll get that right now.
See? Look at this. We're improving on the fly.
Production values.
It's right there. Boom.
That's what we do.
Ellipsis.
You see, it's a 3-dot ellipsis, which means it's a pause in the sentence. If it's a 4-dot, that would mean it's the end of a sentence. So it's not. It's still the same sentence.
What if it's like 8 dots? Because
then you're grammatically incorrect.
That's kind of what I go for.
Where you at on the Oxford comma, Phil?
I am pro Oxford comma.
Yeah, there you go.
Oxford comma is important, man.
I feel the ampersand is not used enough.
Oh, I think social media brought the ampersand roaring back.
Could be. Could be.
I believe in proper grammar and capitalizing every word like Ric Flair's Twitter account.
I have actually heard that is a common device for folks who suffer from dyslexia, which Ric Flair does.
Does he? I didn't know that.
Yes. So
okay,
that's why Ric Flair does that.
You think Ric Flair types his own tweets?
Look, some of them I'm pretty sure he does.
I suppose so. When he declared war on that Italian restaurant, that was probably all him.
Right.
But I mean, who hasn't done that?
Supposedly, part of his activities that night in whatever state he was in included wooing point blank in the face of a blind woman. Oh, man. And no one got that on video.
He's always on brand.
Yeah.
Always.
There's no off switch because he's not playing a character.
Anyways, also in recent weeks, made an appearance on Plastic Profiles over with our friend Agent Chuckles and Steve the Writing Dad. As I taught the world about the unwashed masses about which version of Beachhead is best between the three you see on your screen. You can check that out over on Agent Chuckles' YouTube channel. We've got it linked to our channel, so if you're on our page afterwards, just head over there. They've put out a couple episodes since then. They put my episode out, and then like 2 days later, they bumped it with another one. So I'm right here. I refuse. My ego refuses to let it drift off into oblivion, into obscurity. Anyhow, Phil, have you watched?
I regret to say I have not.
Phil, I expect that sort of thing from James Gavsey. I don't expect that from you, Phil.
I had things going on.
We are very busy people, Mike. I mean, we're at Comic-Con. We're attending great, big, huge events. We're very much in demand. I'm sorry, I'll do better.
Good. That's all I can expect. Anyways, check that out. Plastic Profiles, not just my episode, but all of them. And give the folks over at Agent Chuckles a subscribe. Or
were your favorite beachheads were number 79, number 110, number 1, obviously, and number 147.
79 is in the middle of that run of that squad of troublesome bachelors known as the Squad.
Yeah.
So probably not individually, but maybe as a group.
They need a sitcom. One of them voiced by Michael Richards. He needs to work.
I mean, Hollywood needs something fresh, and I think you just nailed it.
Mm-hmm. The Squad coming to the CW this fall.
That seems more like a TBS production. I hate to say.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. That's just after a 4-hour block of Impractical Jokers.
Oof.
How did they take over 2 whole cable channels at this point? That's what I want to know.
It's like
how did this happen?
It's like when poker took over ESPN for a couple of years.
Cheap production values.
But like True TV became the Impractical Jokers channel. And now they're moving to TBS, but they have not taken them off of True TV. And so help me, there's not a minute of that that's funny. Like I've seen those guys doing talk shows and in other situations, and they always come off as being pleasant and they're entertaining enough when you're sitting there talking to them. But I just don't understand the appeal of prank shows. I don't get it.
So what they do is they set up pranks, and then people don't know they're being pranked. Oh, you're saying you don't get the appeal, or you don't know how they work?
No, the appeal.
Got it. Then I take back what I just said.
That's the yellow part of a banana.
Yeah. You don't find that funny? In all seriousness, you don't. I love the Impractical Jokers. I think they're fantastic.
I
Really?
don't. Yeah, I've tried, man. Those are my people, man. Bunch of guys from the East Coast just running around being all East Coasty. And I can't get into it. Can't do it.
You know what it is? I think you're just too refined. You're too the French have a term for it, is you have a je ne sais quoi about you. You're just your palate is just too elevated.
That means I can read? I mean, yeah, I can read.
Like I said, you're very, compared to me, you're very elevated in society, and you have the finer things surrounding you.
Sure, as I look around the parts of the room that the camera doesn't pick up. Sure, that's it. That's it entirely. Most of my furniture is made out of comic book long boxes, but sure.
Sturdy though. Yeah.
What was that game show that they did? Oh hell, I used to watch that all the time.
Tic-tac-toe?
No.
Joker's Wild with that creepy host.
Joker, U.S. history. You mean Bill Cullen?
Is that whoever he was? He looked like he was. He looked demonic.
The old Joker's Wild.
He looked demonic by design, I think.
He was kind of a little gnome guy, yeah.
Yeah, with weird eyebrows. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
You're so off track.
Yeah, what are we talking about? Oh yeah, we wanted to hustle through community calendar.
Right.
We only have about 3 hours worth of news to get through.
Look, we're still a good 25 minutes short on where we normally are. So
That's true.
Calm your tits, Mark. Let's relax a little.
Chill out, tits. Okay.
Wow.
Hey, sometimes they get loose.
We try to keep them under control.
Mm-hmm.
And then remember, we do have some Joe Fest leftovers. You can throw some money at us, and none of it's actually coming to us. Everything's for charity. We will explain. We do have still just a few left of these Patch Czar created Staff Sergeant C-Nugs patch flags. Just a few left. They are $15 a piece plus shipping. If you're in the U.S., that's been about $2. So don't stress out about shipping. All benefits from the patches go to Canines for Warriors, a great charity. And then we've also got a few left on the Staff Sergeant C-Nugs in action figure. He comes with his little gun and his little dipping sauce cup. All proceeds from these go to the Roma Collectibles Cancer Fund. They are $10 a piece, again, plus shipping. It's been about $2. They've got Blazing Beach Party, and we've got Mad Marauder Barbecue. Otherwise, the figures are all the same. It's just the dipping cups that are different. They've also got a little beachhead mask that you can put on the chicken nugget. It's all in good fun. And again, not a penny of it's coming to us. All the money going to charity. $15 for the patch goes directly to Canines for Warriors. $10 for Staff Sergeant C-Nugs comes to the Roma Collectibles Cancer Fund, which we'll be getting to them shortly. So we've just got a few left on each. Mango Habanero is sold out, so don't ask.
I can't tell if it's ironic or awesome that the Mad Marauder item is moving a little slower than the rest.
It seems true to life.
Yeah.
I have not had anybody put in an order for them and then back out on it yet. So it's not quite true. Bjorn the Viking saving us as we could not remember the name of the game show featuring the Tenderloins from Impractical Jokers, The Misery Index. I watched it every week. I loved The Misery Index. Fantastic show. And then Joe had to go and leave the group, so they only had 3. You can't do Misery Index with 3 Tenderloins. That's garbage.
Did he became the Timberlake of the group?
I think he left to save his marriage. It was something very dramatic.
Okay. Good luck on that.
Star Wars Collecting and Hobbies, welcome to the show, asks, how do you buy the C-Nugs? That's an excellent question. That's right here on our next screen. Send your order to whatsonjoemind@gmail.com. There's that address again. James Gavsey, what's that address?
It's whatsonjoemind@gmail.com.
Act fast, first come, first served. Do not send money until your order is confirmed. Emails only. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter requests will not be honored. I can't. business accounts and social media are kind of weird, so we need to make sure that when in such limited quantities that we're getting this time stamped, because again, first come, first serve. Send your email off to that as far as what you're looking to get. I will confirm it for you, and then we will take care of payment afterwards. Scotty Z70 asks, will you send the C-Nugs using D&D stamps? That might cost you extra.
You gotta buy the stamps.
But what's on joemind@gmail.com? Let us know what you want. And we will get it to you. Still, I don't know, maybe a half dozen on the patches and maybe 11 or 12 total on the nugget figures. So get it done. We're almost out.
But if you order a 9-pack of nuggets, you only get one thing of dipping sauce because McDonald's is a bunch of cheap bastards.
No lies told.
No, if you get the 10-pack, you get 2.
Do you? How many do you get for a 6-pack?
1.
Right.
Wait. What
That's
kind of
not
McDonald's? What kind of McDonald's you guys going to? Really? The last time I went, they were like, "How many do you want?" What kind of horrible, deplorable, if I might even say, McDonald's do you guys go to?
Dude, if I went to your McDonald's, I'd get a 6-pack of nuggets, 20 sweet and sour packets, and then I would get Wendy's nuggets for the rest of the month.
Right.
Perfect.
Well, nearby us is the oldest McDonald's.
Ooh, that's right.
And what purpose does that serve to the conversation, Phil? How many sauces do they give you, Phil? That's what's important here.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna make your way out to any McDonald's,
How many sauces, Phil?
They never limited me when I went there.
See a pattern.
It was opened in 1947 by the Croc Master. Yeah. See what I did there?
Right.
Yeah.
Wreckship85 notes that we're close to 50 people watching, and
Not for long.
People, I apologize.
Yeah, not for long.
That's actually kind of a low number for a San Diego Comic-Con review show, but you know how it goes. Everybody tunes in the second hour because I think they're beating the system. They don't want to be a part of community calendar, but screw them. We're going to keep talking. We're going to rush. We're going to get through early, and they're going to miss half the San Diego stuff.
We're trying to do it all in one breath.
Right. What's on joemind@gmail.com? Let us know which Staff Sergeant CNUG merchandise you want to see. Do it soon. And of course, this is out of order, but this Saturday is Roma Benefit Day at the Toy Department. If you are in Fairfield, Ohio, at the Toy Department, all proceeds from sales that day go to Aaron Dietrich at Roma Collectibles to help with his cancer fight. So if you are anywhere around Cincinnati,
yeah, give it up.
Get that done. Get that done. If you're not close to Cincinnati, get close to Cincinnati. Because this is good work. Those guys are tops. So I've known them for going on 2 decades now. Can't beat the Toy Department. You can't beat Roma Collectibles. Not possible.
It's a big team up, right? It's like when it was Spider-Man and Wolverine or something, right? Instead of Spider-Man and Paladin.
Right. Diana Davis says that the oldest McDonald's gives you 20 sauces and the McRib is always on the menu. Phil, can you confirm?
Yeah, sure.
Look, I'm not going to call out Diana Davis, but that sounds like some Bill Brasky bullshit, right?
Yeah, it kind of does.
Let me tell you about the oldest McDonald's. They give you 50 chicken sandwiches stacked between burgers.
First of all, Diana Davis is absolutely correct. But additional question: what animal do they get the ribs from the McRib?
Ooh.
That's the finest of pork leavings.
That's what they want you to think.
I didn't say pork. I said pork leavings.
Right.
I'm just going to say
different.
I have never seen a rat wandering around the oldest McDonald's.
Ooh.
I'm just saying that.
Not a lot of homeless people either.
Ooh.
James, you lived in Georgia for a time. You know what pork leavings are.
Oh, I sure do.
You do.
Are they meerkats?
No.
Not a lot of homeless people in Georgia either. Just putting that out there.
Look, come on now.
The McRib is made out of homeless people?
I didn't say it. You did. How dare you? You're a monster. You're probably not wrong, by the way.
It's tested as Soylent McRib.
Soylent McRib is people.
I mean, that was part of the ad campaign. They weren't hiding that.
That's it for community calendar.
The family was watching. Oh shoot! I just blanked on Wheel of Fortune the other night, and they just put the puzzle up, and it was 7 letters and then 5 letters, and it was thing, and I went Soylent Green, and everybody looked at me like I'm the idiot.
Well, you kind of are.
I was like, God, please let this be Soylent Green. It wasn't.
It was.
No, it was Wedding Favor.
So close.
Which sucks.
So
The
close.
wedding favor is Soylent Green.
Could be.
That's it for community calendar. You saw the email address there. Remember, if you've got anything for your community calendar, anything you got for the mailbag, anything you want on the show at all, what's on Joe Mind at gmail.com. That's where you send it to. That's how we know you care.
Mhm.
James Gavsey, do you care?
I care so much.
That's
The
a
amount
lie.
of caring I have for all things to do with what's on Joe Mind. By the way, I'm not lying because I don't typically do a lot of podcasts in all seriousness. And Mike, you won me over when you were a guest judge on the Who Would Win show. And I said, whatever Mike's part of, my man crush, if you will extend hopefully to wherever he's going to be. And then hopefully there's a chance for me to be there. So I am all about everything associated with what's on Joe Mind.
I keep telling these people that I'm awesome, and they don't believe me.
Mhm.
And so
What?
you're just singing, you're just preaching to the choir now.
You know, there are many tragedies that befall people throughout their lives, not knowing the level of awesomeness that you bring to the table and everything you do is one of the worst tragedies of all, just period.
I'm a professional. Tell the subscriber count. That's what I'm saying. Yorktown Joe notes that animals run over by Mark's chair are guaranteed not in McRib.
Now,
A long list.
to be clear, I'm not proud that I ran over the dog tonight, but in my defense, who
The
lays down behind the rolling chair?
She just wanted to be close to you, Mark, and
She never wants to be close to
you
me.
stationed yourself so far away.
Man,
Cold.
dogs.
Yeah,
Like
suffice to say, Mark's a cat guy.
dogs are like having a baby that never grows up. They're cute, but they're a lot of work.
It's time to make those suckers that haven't shown up yet pay. It's time for the news. First news item. Hey, you're running out of time. Kinda, maybe a little. But anyways, we finally have a date on the end of the Battle Action Force early bundle deal. Remember, if that's pre-ordering all 3 books, but you're only paying for 2, that is through August 17th. And you can get that done over at TotalToyBooks.com. That price you see there, that's not that you're not having a stroke. That's a euro sign, not a dollar sign. But conversion's pretty close. So instead of 150 euro, it's about $160. But this is complete reprints from front to back of the entire Battle Action Force comics from the UK. A wonderful bit of G.I. Joe history as we get to see it born in another country. But again, that deal, that special is going on through August 17. You wait till August 17, you're paying full price, and you're a sucker. A sucker, I say. Phil, have you ordered your copy?
I have, yes, actually.
Good. Mark Weber.
All 3 volumes. Tough, tense, and terrific.
Have you hidden your order from the wife yet?
I'm my own man. I do what I want.
You just say that because she's upstairs.
She's asleep. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm in charge.
James Gavsey, do you know anything about the UK Action Force?
I do not. Although I do assume that there's a lot of action in a very forceful manner, and it's something that should be purchased right away.
You're not
Exactly.
wrong.
Before August 17, you get to educate yourself at a 33% discount. Make sure you head over to totaltoybooks.com to get that done.
As my friend in Spain would say, I don't know if you know, but Action Force started in the UK. Thank you.
That's a little something from the pre-show. And what is pre-show, Mark?
It's the best show.
There you go.
And I wish I could be that sarcastic in a second language.
Oh. Next news item.
Spain.
I had a joke there, but it would have taken so long to set up that we would be here for another hour. So I'm just letting it go. I had to swallow my pride on that one and just push on forward.
There we go.
Hey, look, it's new releases from Trick or Treat Studios, because I'm sure they know their audience. But up for pre-order now at trickortreatstudios.com. You got some Trick or Treat buckets. You can see we got Cobra Commander and Snake Eyes, and we got masks. You can see we got Snake Eyes and Destro. I wonder where they got the mold for that Snake Eyes. But anyhow, buckets are going for $19.99 a pop. Masks are $49.99 each. Can you beat that? I say no. I say that is the best discount you will get on an official G.I. Joe Halloween bucket this season.
I love that Snake Eyes doesn't really show a lot of emotion behind the full body mask, but you can totally tell the furrowing of the brow that's going on there. Right?
He's stressing out because you're trying to give him Three Musketeers and not the full Snickers.
Yeah, or it's either calculus test or big poop Snake Eyes. Either way,
he's not much of a Botox type of guy, but he needs it.
No. Yeah,
it's like hey, this is great value candy. Where's the name brand stuff? Kind
Don't
of
they?
That's a stressful moment right there.
James, I think you're the
Necco Wafer House.
James is the man to answer this. Don't they give away free Botox in LA for Halloween?
Yeah, they do it a couple of different ways. You can come to people's houses and they have needles, and you can choose what kind of needle you want, Botox or some other flavor they may have. Yeah, they also inject candy bars with Botox. For the kids seem to like it.
Yeah.
You got to go to Beverly Hills. Otherwise,
you got a numbing sensation on the tongue. It's very refreshing.
That's why the Beverly Hills kids look so youthful.
Slight case of botulism.
That's a tomorrow problem, because in the immediate, all of a sudden, those furrowed brows that Snake Eyes have disappear and look more like the bucket than the mask.
Oh,
I hear they're going to make a Don Moreno mask in about 50 years. So that's good.
Rachel Salinas says Snake Eyes doesn't have lips, no sale.
Or that can't be Snake Eyes. He doesn't have a red sniper dot in the middle of his forehead.
It is his defining trait.
Wreckship85 says that Snake Eyes is clenching because he's lactose intolerant.
They just keep giving him milkshakes at the pit. You can't say no.
Right? And they're delicious, but they're so wrong.
Well, he literally can't say no. That's the problem.
What's going on with Destro's facial expressions? I mean, wouldn't he be like smiling in an evil way? But no, something's clearly upset him.
No, he just walked in on the Baroness in short fuse. And it's not her betrayal so much. It's short fuse.
Right.
E4? Come
right.
on.
You'd figure she'd at least leave him for a mover and a shaker, but no, absolutely. Short fuse. The ultimate forgotten Joe.
And short fuse is like, what are you doing in here? You're making me mad.
He looks very, very disappointed.
But no forehead wrinkles whatsoever. Botox, mission accomplished for Destro.
The idea that a guy with a nickname of Short Fuse could pull the Baroness. Come on.
I don't know, man.
She's more of a long arm kind of guy, I think.
Wild card.
Loves a strange thing.
Skid mark. Wait.
But Destro is, of course, not a candy bucket, so that's why he's upset, because nobody's given him anything.
Right.
Nobody's given him anything.
I want to wear that Destro mask and put a toupee on over it. That'd be awesome.
No joke. Destro looks like my old Hebrew school teacher, Mrs. Finkelbaum. Like if you put a little bit of hair up there, same everything going on. You know what it is? It's the silvery exterior. Yeah, and the bolts in the neck. She had some of those too.
Oh, Mrs. Finkelbaum.
Yeah, she was like
That's what
8
got
feet
me.
tall at her hind at the shoulder, but if she stood up, she was like 19 like Tyrannosaurus. Anyway, she's dead now. It's fine.
Racktime Rob notes that Destro went trick or treating and got raisins.
Yep.
That's nature's candy.
You know, 7-year-old me hated raisins, but 49-year-old me kind of likes raisins.
Quick, I promise.
You betrayed yourself.
I promise. Quick story. Me and two of my high school buddies, when we all lived in Phoenix as somewhat adults, went to a movie with our wives. So it was a triple date, 6 people. Me and one of the buddies went to the snack bar. And buddy number 3, who didn't want to come with us, we said, what can we get you? He said, just bring me something chocolate. So we brought him back Raisinets.
Oh, see now, Racktime Rob loves him some Raisinets.
Dude, we handed him out, and then we just tried to keep it together while he held them and looked around like, this can't be real, right? We're all eating popcorn, drinking soda, got Baby Ruth. Yeah, we got good stuff. We held it together for about a minute. And then buddy number 2 went, poof, and then I lost it, and we fell out. And
For some reason, I could have tolerated Raisinets at the movie theater. Like that's movie candy.
Dude, I worked the candy counter in college, man. Nobody buys Raisinets. Nobody.
Just Racktime Rob.
I was pretty sure I stocked that Raisinette that I then bought a week later.
And Michael Gene Fleming. He calls it the 3rd best candy at the gym.
Yeah, behind Snickers and everything else.
The other great movie theater candies are, of course, Goobers and Snowcaps. You only get them at the movie theater.
What are snow caps?
Snowcaps are like little chocolate chip things with candy sprinkles stuck in one end.
White candy sprinkles, the little dot sprinkles, not the long,
Oh, okay.
cylindrical
Right.
ones.
Right. They're again, there's just some of those candies only at the movie theater.
Raisinets, man. I wouldn't eat a Raisinette.
Milk duds, baby.
Milk duds. Pretty solid.
Growing up
always the
in
one.
Canada, movie, we did have popcorn, and then we had like beef ribs and like liver on a stick. It's just a whole new world. Americans.
Are those beef ribs or moose ribs?
The moose ribs were harder to come by. They don't go down. It's like you got to really kill a moose to start ripping some meat off of it. The cows are much easier. You know what it is? Cows are trusting. It's not that hard to sneak up on a cow. You don't even have to sneak up on a cow. Just walk right up to it and take it out. Mike, you were there. Remember what we did last time? So anyway, yeah, moose ribs.
Torpedo 83. Mochi Crunch with Furikake over buttered popcorn. Hawaii does it right. I don't even know what that sentence is.
No,
but I had to put it up there anyway.
I don't trust any browsing history where you type in Furikake.
Yeah, I thought that was pronounced Fukaki, and I was not going to put that up. But go ahead.
No.
Next news item.
Do.
Hey, Hyatt Boys. They put out a pre-order for Crimson Guard. I don't want to get too far into it because remember the last time they did this, I promised no more full previews until they actually put out a figure. But I do want to give a couple of seconds for our resident crank, Mark Weber. You got 60 seconds to go off. Let me get the timer ready.
Okay.
I had this all set up, and then I shut out of my sound.
I won't need 60. I can go quick.
So you got 60 seconds starting now.
This is actually a really good looking figure, and a lot of Hyatt Toys stuff does look great, which is cool because they're all theoretical at this point, right? Of course they look good. They don't have to tool it because they're not making it, but this is gonna drive me nuts because unless I'm dead wrong here, that knife is gonna go in that sheath with the handle pointing straight up and literally obscuring a third of his peripheral vision, if not bumping his nose when he tries to turn his head. Nobody wears a knife like that unless it's a down pull. It can't be an up pull. And the other bit is the Crimson Guard didn't have a knife there. He didn't. So someone decided, let's add a knife to a Crimson Guard and put it in the least realistic possible place other than sticking right out of his ass.
End time. All right.
Stop doing this. Everybody, if you do a military line, if it's an up pull knife, it has to be a short knife and the sheath has to be low on the belly. Nobody puts a knife pointing up all the way up by the neck.
Agreed. It's kind of an eyesore there. It breaks up the whole. It's a good looking figure except for that. Like
Exactly.
even throw out the functional part of it, which I think you're entirely correct on. It just doesn't look right there.
No.
It just looks bad.
It's literally glued or pegged right over some of the metals, right, on this guy's chest. Like they made a good representation of one of the most classic designs in Joe history, and then went, you know what, let's make one change.
Right.
Okay. I'm glad they didn't put it right over the Cobra logo.
Diana Davis is jumping on my other nitpick. It's the black knee pads I don't like. Yeah, I'm with you too. Knee pads seem to be what they do on the high line, though, so whatever. But that's it. So, again, we don't want to give this too much of a look because, really, it's a theoretical figure.
Yeah.
Next news item.
Do.
Hey, just before San Diego, we did get a look at these fellas, or these folks. I shouldn't say fellas. That's not right. But these folks, it's Night Force Falcon and Quarrel. And they're pretty badass. I got to give him credit on this one. Phil Donnelly, your thoughts on this 2-pack of figures?
I am all for it. In fact, I did pre-order it, but I also like how they specifically called out the new portrait on Falcon. they recognize they whiffed on the last attempt.
James Gavsey, how much G.I. Joe you collecting these days?
So much. Copious volumes of G.I. Joe collectibles. My car is wrapped with G.I. Joe from the 80s, the later 80s series that no one liked. But here's the thing. In all seriousness, I just watched the original G.I. Joe miniseries that came out in the early 80s with my daughter. It was available on Tubi. And she's like, was older animation horrible? And I'm like, oh, really? Watch this. And she was so into it. So to answer your question, none.
So I'm going to ignore my part of it. I need to get into this with, I need to not fight your daughter. A child growing up today is saying that the animation that you grew up with was terrible.
Look, okay, hold on. Here's the deal. We remember like Dungeons and Dragons, right? Which was awesome. Transformers, Thundercats, what have you. But there was a whole bunch of other stuff that maybe wasn't so good.
Look, I get it. Percentages were probably about the same, but man, they were churning it out back then. So we had a greater number of overall successes. Today, what the small children of today have Bluey, and that's about all. Even SpongeBob's terrible now.
Look, just show her the Fleischer Superman cartoons and let her know that good animation existed for a century.
We laugh. We also watched Super Friends on Max, where the one where Superman can put the moon back together, but somehow can't escape being tied up by ropes. That. So that was fantastic storytelling, by the way, just through and through, just masterful.
So, sometimes you got to make the story fit in 11 minutes. Sometimes there's just no time.
That's the one where the girl can turn into a T-Rex and the guy can turn into Dasani.
Yeah, correct.
Jan and Zaina, the
floor.
Wonder Twins. Yeah. He was always like either an ice bucket or water that the monkey would hold in a bucket, but there was always a bucket for some reason associated. I didn't want to read into it, but there was some psychological trauma with the bucket.
The water in the bucket, though, didn't they usually put a smiley face on it? So
yeah,
no
like
one
his
would,
face would be on whatever he turned into.
yeah, so
Yeah,
no one would forget, get thirsty, and just drink Jace.
Well, he was also like purple water, right? Which is
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
dubious, and it's
And Jace was Space Ghost. You're thinking of Zan. It's Zan and
Zan
Jaina.
and Jaina, right?
Zan and Jaina. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not that he wasn't a memorable character.
Right.
But Greg Augustin asked, I didn't see in the promo image, but is Falcon's beret removable? Yes, it is. And you can see that if you go to the full gallery posted on our Instagram account at What's on Joe Mind.
How
Again,
convenient.
not just the official pictures, all the stuff that Phil went and took pictures of through the Hasbro booth all weekend long. So many Rattler pictures. Oh my God, so many Rattler pictures. But again, it's all on our Instagram account. There is no way that I have the disk space in StreamYard to show all the pictures that Phil took. So I had to be very selective about what made the show tonight.
One small thing, and they may have done this, we don't know for sure, but if I was in charge of this, Falcon would come with not two heads, but three heads. He'd come with two of the new head, and one of them wouldn't be visible, right? It'd be just in with the accessory.
Hidden in the packaging.
Yeah, just as you don't have to acknowledge it publicly, but we all know something went wrong on that Falcon. So as an apology, as a mea culpa to the collector, it wouldn't cost them hardly anything to double up. They should double up the main head, and they shouldn't put them both in there because that would look weird and need to be explained. Just keep the second one hidden. That's taking care of your fan base.
Anyways, the G.I. Joe Classified 2-pack, Night Force, Falcon, and Quarrel. That pre-order is open now. It is a Walmart exclusive. As all Night Force stuff is. It was up on Pulse for a while as well, but that's fine. Yeah, that's there's a pretty decent amount of gear there. Mark Weber, what do you think of Quarrel?
It's fine, and people aren't as mad at this Quarrel, right?
Right.
As the first time we saw her. One thing that bugs me on the Scarlet mold and thing like this is I don't like the leotard look anyway, but just paint the whole hip piece, right? You don't have to give me a French cut that comes up a little bit more than the actual cut of the the actual figure, right? I think it would look better. Maybe it'd look like granny panties. I don't know.
I know where you're coming from, but there is a subset of the fandom who would complain about her having granny panties.
Yeah, that's probably true. But the guys online complaining about the cut of the female action figures swimsuit area, maybe we don't have to give them.
Yeah. I tend to think you don't have to listen to that bunch.
I just
try not to listen, but they talk anyway.
Whenever, in my opinion, and also experience, whenever you can hide the cut with a seam, it's good. At McFarland, we would frequently have an undershirt under a hockey jersey because it would come across right where a neck cut needed to be, and it helps hide the cut, makes it look better. So
right. But
you can also on the packaging for her put like a little thought bubble saying like eyes up here, right? So,
I mean, I don't think it's risque or showing too much because obviously her legs aren't green. So, but I
she has a condition, okay?
Yeah, if that's her skin color, Kirk will be here in 3, 2, 1. But I just think it's for basic figure construction. That's why you put wristwatches where the hand cut is.
Right.
It just hides the seam better.
Right. And I'm with you on the leotard thing. It's very 80s. It's pretty dated.
Yeah.
It's probably the second most dated design outside of Gung Ho, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, anytime Classified has tried to do anything that deviated from the classic 80s and 90s line, they've just gotten panned for it. So I understand why they're not fighting that battle anymore. But Figure 6-pack said she needed the Ram cycle, but the mold has already been done to death. And you could just give her the one that came with Shockwave. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, moving on. Also released, this was Thursday morning at the Hasbro brand breakfast before San Diego Comic-Con opened. We got to look at Starduster. And again, the full gallery posted on our Instagram.
It's gonna be a recurring theme today.
I'm going to. It's on damn near every tile. So just I'm not going to announce it every time, but it's making me laugh, so I had to. But anyways, there's you see Starduster. I'm so glad we got him out of the way before we got to like Flash. But his pre-order opens up on September 13. On that is going to be a PulseCon exclusive. He is a deluxe assortment figure, so he's going to be $34.99. You can see all the goodies he comes with there. He's got his sidearm, he's got binoculars, a couple of helmet options, all kinds of hands. He's got his jump pack with blast effects. This is a really cool figure. I was expecting Starduster to be a guy I could let go. You know, I wasn't. I'm not really a completist on Classified, and I figured, this is a guy I don't have a whole lot of attachment to. But man, if he doesn't look cool. Mark Webber, what do you think?
I think it's great, and it's pretty much straight reuse, but that's what he was originally, right? So okay. The one thing, can you go back one slide, Mike? I don't know if we have.
Could. Will I though?
Would you please? So the one thing that and this is easily fixed and probably not a problem, but keep an eye on it. That's some radically different placement on the star decal or tampo hit in the photo versus the pack out, right?
Yeah.
And I would prefer it not ride so low that his mini visor obscures part of it. So let's hope it's more the former than the latter.
Ooh.
It could be that the helmet is just being pushed forward in package and the visor's riding up.
Yeah, that visor. My impression is that visor's the Duke helmet.
Mm-hmm.
So that visor moves around. So I have a feeling it's not going to be that bad.
I hope so. I'm just keep an eye on that. But this is good. I got no problem with this. And if you don't want it, don't buy it.
Michael Gene Fleming says, Stardust just going on the shelf next to my Count Chocula figure from Jada.
Yes.
With the rest of his cereal crunching pals. James Gavsey, were you a big fan of G.I. Joe Action Stars?
I mean, of action figures, yes. Back in the day, I did have a collection. And what I loved doing was putting G.I. Joes into Cobra vehicles to because they just seem to fit really, really well. But yeah, we didn't have a ton of money to get a whole bunch of great toys, but the ones we did were fantastic. I had an assortment of Snake Eyes, different Snake Eyes. He was my favorite. So yes, big fan of this stuff.
I was asking about the breakfast cereal. But
the breakfast cereal. Again, I'll refer you to what I used to eat at movies in Canada. You know, more Moose products.
To be fair, the breakfast cereal was produced by Ralston Purina. So
yeah. No, actually, we did have Count Chocula, but my favorite that I never got to have was Cookie Crisp.
Oh man,
that's
you're
a pretty
missing
good
out.
one.
I was convinced it was made out of real cookies, and unfortunately, I convinced my parents that it was too, and they're like, "That's definitely not what you're ever going to have for breakfast." So
I mean, they're not far off from real cookies. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome, James. You really owe it to yourself to grab.
I do believe cookies are healthier than that cereal.
Now, James, I would like to point out you are an adult now who makes his own breakfast cereal purchases, and Cookie Crisp is still being produced.
Have you met my wife?
It's your secret shame car cereal.
Greg Augustine asked, is the full head helmet a new mold? I believe so.
Oh.
No.
No?
It is the full head helmet that came with the Steel Core 2-pack for their Jump Jetpack.
Oh, right. It was, wasn't it?
They're being consistent there. I like that.
I never put that thing on him, so I guess I forgot all about it.
Steel Core.
Oh. Wreckship 85 presents the wrong opinion that Oreo O's are better than Cookie Crisp. That is incorrect.
What are Oreo O's?
The lovely Elizabeth will argue you on that point. She's big on the Oreo
circle cereal, like Cheerios, but made out of Oreo.
Where the hell have I been?
Yeah.
That's a thing?
It is. I don't think
Go
they
check
pull it off.
Amazon. I'm sure it's on there.
Merca, James, Merca.
I don't
What
think
a
they pull it
country.
off myself. I don't care for the Oreo O's.
It's a lot drier than an Oreo would be because they expect you to dunk it in milk.
I always dunk my
Surveillance-
Oreos in milk.
Surveillance Port has renamed our podcast.
Right. He's not wrong.
Welcome to Fat Kid Party Time. I'm your host.
Hell yes.
There you go.
Scotty's East 70 Cracklin' Oat Bran looks like dog food, but they're great. Yes. Cracklin' Oat Bran is incredible. You want to talk about cookies? Cracklin' Oat Bran is little oatmeal cookies, and they're amazing.
When you had the quote up, I could only see the top of Phil's screen. I thought he had a box handy, right, just for snacking during the breaks.
I'm ignoring him because I don't care about giving the Oreo O's people that much free press.
But they might send you a free box.
I mean, are there other like candy and cookie cereals? I don't know. Is there like, Boxo Crack cereal somewhere in the United
Reese's
States?
Puffs,
Like, what am I
Reese's
missing
Puffs.
out on here?
And as Yorktown Joe notes on Starduster, extra chin sold separately.
Right. It's a lot of tooling.
Next news item.
Do.
Anyways, for those of us who were combing around looking for stuff to do before Phil live streamed the Hasbro Pulse panel, there was a Rattler video that went live. How about that? So anyways,
What's going on there?
the worst kept secret of the last couple of weeks was that the HasLab that launched at San Diego was the Cobra Rattler. Funding is going until September 9th. Requires a minimum of 9,000 backers to fund. It passed that goal within 11 hours, so pledge with confidence. Anyways, it's set up to include Wild Weasel, missiles, bombs, and damage panels, display stand, blast effects, lights and lighted displays, and a whole lot more for the low price of $324.99, plus a full garage worth of space.
It is pretty big.
It's large. It's large. Dustin Jeffrey says Reese's Puffs greater than everything else but Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'm with you on Reese's Puffs. I actually don't care for Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
What is Cinnamon Toast? What is happening with the world right now?
Have you never gone in the cereal aisle?
James,
I had,
right?
okay, listen, pulling back the curtain. I had a slight weight issue as a kid. And by slight, I mean exponentially greater than slight. And I've been on a fitness kind of track for decades. I don't eat any of that kind of stuff, but every once in a while, and I am regretting my life choices right now. Seeing
As you
Cinnamon
should.
Toast Crunch, Oreo cookies. Are there Mars bar cereal things going? Like, what the hell? I mean, sorry.
No.
But back to the Cobra Rattler. That is a fine looking piece of engineering.
Oh, we've only started to look at pictures of the Cobra Rattler. Again, these are from the official Hasbro press release. We could see the panel with the chin gun with the blast effect there. We've got the turret up top with the blast effects. Those are the machine gun blast effects. They got laser options too. If that's your flavor, they got that for you too. Mark Weber, what we drinking?
That would be Mountain Dew Code Red. Hard to find on tap.
Yeah. I guess you
For
got to
good
take
reason.
advantage of that when you do.
Yeah.
Look, it's the best of the Mountain Dews, but that's damning with faint praise.
Right. That's like being the best wrestling Armstrong.
Yeah, I think Baja Blast has its own religion.
Look, man, Brad Armstrong could go. His problem wasn't the wrestling.
That's true. That's a good point.
The problem was the complete lack of personality.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyways.
Best wrestling roads then. Oh,
Wreckship 85 with another tremendously wrong opinion. Code Red greater than Cookie Crisp. No.
wait, but
What is Code Red?
who
Please
would
don't
win?
put Code Red in your Cookie Crisp.
Code Red is cherry flavored Mountain Dew.
And it's red. Vibrant, bright red.
Oh,
Yeah, but natural red, right? Hey, there's no coloring in there.
Mark, your urine sample's concerning.
You think this happens naturally? Come on.
James, Mark's urine sample eats through the glass.
Pretty much.
Well, I was about to say it's not the color that throws me; it's the floaty stuff.
Yeah.
But I digress.
But We've also got light up cockpit displays there. You can see the engine panels flip up for some great detail. We've got it's got lights in the front, so you can get that cool night flying effect. And look at Wild Weasel, man. He's a handsome son of a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Who knew? If only Barbecue had a human head that we could compare it to.
I think this is literally for a very cool project. This is my favorite bit of it, that they decided to go, you know what? Let's see what Wild Weasel looks like. It's never been done before. There's no reason not to do it. He's not shrouded in mystery or anything.
Right.
So absolutely, let's have a look at Wild Weasel.
Back in the day, his file card made reference to sustaining an injury to his mouth that gave him a lisp.
Mm-hmm.
And so that they do have, there's a scar on his face. It's a slight one. It's not like this hideous, horrendous burn half his head off like scrap iron kind of deal. But it's there.
I'll be very honest with you. I sustained an injury to my mouth that gave me a little bit of a lisp, and I'm still gorgeous.
Right.
So
you're hot as fuck.
I know, right?
I'll second that, by the way.
I appreciate
I'll second it right here.
When I got up this morning, I had no plans to be this sexy. And sometimes it just happens, right?
It just happens naturally sometimes.
Yeah. Mark, I'm casting for a very high-end budget tentpole film that's going to reset both the DC, Marvel, and Star Wars universes all at the same time. We need a leading man. I think we found them in Mike Irizarry. But Mark, you could also be in it as possibly the roguish villain character.
Well, redheads
getting it done right here.
Right. I can't compete with that. Redheads are traditionally the best friend, second banana.
Yeah.
I believe the role
like,
is titled Hired Goon number 2.
Yeah.
I think it would be more like the Chewbacca.
Ooh, a redheaded Chewbacca would whip so much ass. Let's be serious. But
could you do a Scottish Chewbacca kind of thing?
Maybe. If I could make my pitch though, in college my nickname was Tentpole. So just saying.
Torpedo 83. James just can't film Mark in sunlight. Torpedo 83. That's what AI is used for. So we would take the likeness of Mark.
Yeah, I've been Night Force since '73, baby. Woo!
If you were using a situation where someone was just randomly bursting into flames, then yes, James can film Mark in sunlight.
Yeah, like a vampire dying or something.
You got to get it in one take though.
Yeah. Right. Have that fire hose at the ready.
Wreck Ship 85 with the best two words I've ever heard together in my life. Jamaican Chewbacca.
Mark can be Jamaican Chewbacca. And I
mean,
this story is writing itself. Wreck Ship 85, send me your and Scottish Chewbacca's, Wookiees. I don't know what I'm going to do with all the money we're going to make.
Good Lord.
I believe you have to donate it as an apology to some sort of organization.
Normally, I don't like multiverse stories, but Jamaican Chewbacca, yeah, the redhead.
Right, needs to happen. He's from Bend, Oregon. He's not Jamaican.
Yeah, no. Well, what's the difference?
There's very little.
Yeah.
As determined by our playing of the Bend national anthem just a few seconds ago.
Yeah, but.
Hey, and then unlock number 1 are these Cobra Airborne Squadron patches. They unlocked at 11,000 backers. We are at 12,000 backers and change. So these are on board. We are in for patches. I, for one, am sick and tired of seeing negative comments about the patches. Somebody worked real hard on these. Yeah, they're not a figure, but at the same time, it's a pledge tier that probably makes the whole project a little bit more affordable because you're not spending money on tooling. You're not spending money on new stuff like that. So, yeah, you're getting patches for a pledge tier, but at the same time, your Rattler is only $325. When, the Star Wars folks just paid $500 for a freaking bar and then paid extra for seats. So I don't want to hear it. I'm done.
And to play Sun Devil's advocate, what the fuck are you going to do with these patches, Mike?
I don't know.
You're going to do nothing with them. They look nice. I'm not ripping on the patches.
Right. They're
Yeah.
cool, and somebody worked hard on them. I understand all that, Mark. I get it.
Yeah.
But these things are going to go in a Ziploc bag. They're going to go in the tub where I put my classified stuff, and they're probably never coming out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not that upset about it because the Rattler is still awesome.
Yeah, the Rattler's great. And this is about my only complaint about it. Because on the other hand, this is a bullshit tier.
Again, it is, but I have a feeling that this is keeping the cost of the whole project down.
But it's the first time we've had a bullshit tier on a Joe Hazlet. Right? Right?
Look, man, it doesn't take away from the whole thing.
But what are tiers for on a project like this?
Right, to enhance the experience.
And to encourage people who might be on the fence to buy more or to get in, right?
Right.
This doesn't do either of that. And considering the Gunner figure, spoiler, is what, a new head on a completely existing figure?
I don't know. I think
it is. And the Baroness figure is basically a Glenda, right? You can see the reuse all over that one. So
see, I don't know about that because they're showing there's shots where you can see more of a first edition Baroness type of figure under there.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Glenda kind of figure under there.
No, what I mean is the Baroness is new, but there's just basically putting out the re-release before the original, right?
Sure.
So, which is not dumb, which is totally smart, which is totally fine, but it makes the reuse of those two unlocks that come later make this step seem cheaper by comparison.
Again, I'm pretty confident that if there was say another figure in this tier in place of these patches, the whole project jumps up to $400.
It's possible. I'm not saying it has to be a figure. Maybe there wasn't any other blast effects or equipment to be done, right? Maybe they gave you so much in the Rattler that there wasn't anything else to add to it. Okay, but it doesn't make this not a bullshit tier. It's a bullshit tier.
But anyways, if you have 3 tiers, then you definitely want to put the weakest one first. So again, the fact that it's here doesn't bother me at all.
They did that part right.
Right. Do I love the patches on their own? I like the patches just fine. Do I accept the patches as the cost of doing affordable business? I do that too.
Maybe. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying the patches are bullshit.
I think we're kind of on the same ledge. I just have a better outlook about it.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I'm going to go out and buy me a bomber jacket right now so I can sew these on.
James Gavsey, do you want Mark's patches?
Has he touched them himself?
Yes.
Not yet.
In a certain way.
You know, you had me, then you lost me. Not gonna lie. If I just was thinking like you held them in your hand, and I'm like, oh my god, that's awesome. And then you got weird. And I have enough of that with the moose products I eat for breakfast. So I'm not feeling no. If you handle the patches, great. But if you handle the patches, not a fan.
No. What if I manhandled the patches? Just saying.
Same direction of not a fan. No. I like the PG. I'm more of a rated G type of guy. Of like, looking in my hand, and then you can send my. It's like if baby Jesus held something, right? You get to hold you like, oh my god, when I'm holding, it's like what baby Jesus. I'm not comparing you to baby Jesus, Mark, but I'm not comparing you to baby Jesus.
Dear tiny,
stay in that lane.
8 pound, 2 ounce baby Jesus.
The most powerful of all the Jesus forms. Yeah.
He was a man. He had a beard.
There was Bruce Lee Jesus with the abs, right? That we see in churches everywhere. He's great, very powerful. There's the unknown teenage Jesus, kind of the Twilight Jesus. And then there's sweet baby Jesus. That's the most powerful of the G's eye, if you will. Yeah.
And he makes a barbecue sauce.
Can kill a moose like no one's business.
True story. In our church, one of the side panels of the main narthex, or the place where they're praying, there's a beautiful stained glass of Jesus crucified, but because it's skinny, it's just his torso, right? And the abs are ridiculous. And my daughter at one point nudged me and went, "Jesus must work out." And then I pointed back at her on the printout for the day. I put my finger under the A and the B in absolution. And now whenever they say absolution in church, she and I can't not giggle.
Yeah.
And we get in trouble almost every Sunday, and it's not our fault.
Listen, not to derail this great conversation about these patches, but Moses actually could fight, was a kick-ass fighter. Jesus had a body we all kind of are, not jealous of, but like can appreciate. I'm totally jealous. I mean, that's not a bad thing when you're worshiping and you're like, who I worship kicks ass in some way. I think it's not bad.
I think it's rare for us to make a first-time guest this uncomfortable.
Mm.
Who's uncomfortable?
Right.
Phil Donnelly, what do you think of patches?
I appreciate that they're putting little Easter eggs in there. 84th Squadron for 1984 is its year. Tank Smashers being a prototype name for it, for the Rattler. Semper Fidelis Serpens, I guess they're just going with Semper Fi. Sure, well, make it Snake. But there is some thought put into these. And yeah, I'm sure everybody would prefer a figure over patches, but like, they're trying to do something a little different, maybe unexpected, shake things up so we're not just expecting the same thing every year with the HasLab. And they're not all going to be home runs, but, I can still appreciate the effort that went into it.
Surveillance Port asks, do you even live for your sins, bro?
That's what I'm talking about. Right there.
Scotty Z70, 84, didn't Real American Hero come out in 82? Yes, it did, but the Rattler came out in 84. Toy Bounty Hunter says that Tank Smasher is a hint at the next HasLab, the Mauler. Hey, fingers crossed.
I already ordered my Mauler.
Right.
Wait till you laugh and find out the tank they bring out is the Slugger.
I love the Slugger. That's thunder.
It'd be all over a Slugger. Anyways.
And just as the last slap to me, he'll have Sergeant Slaughter's waist. And I'll be like, ass, bro.
That's just like you grew up with, Mark. You wouldn't complain at all.
With a bright white belt.
Oop! I jumped.
Ooh, too far.
The Cobra Rattler Gunner is the second tier. He unlocks at 14,000 backers. It looks like that's well on its way. You can see there he's got a kit of his own, removable helmet, air hose, mask, a couple of pistols. He's got the semi-automatic for when he gets out of the plane. Not bad. And then perhaps the best of the tiers is the Pilot Baroness, who unlocks at 18,000. Looking at this project, if it's sitting at 12,000 and change now, 18,000 is going to happen before we're done. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Pilot Baroness has all kinds of cool stuff, a few different types of hairstyles. She's got a custom helmet there too. She's got the laser rifle that the figure came with back in 1984, which every other version has ignored to this point. So that's pretty cool. Just great offering there. Great offering.
My only worry about the Gunner and the Baroness figure, and I forget if Weasel had it too, it's hard to make a holster that isn't sizable.
Yeah.
And the Rattler was always kind of a tough fit for the figure as you slide them in, right? So making them, 30% wider just based on holsters. I assume they tested that, but feels like that might be an issue. I don't know.
We'll find out.
We're going to find. I'm sure they tested it. But.
Bart says he's in the Air Force. He's never seen air crew pack that much heat. Look, man, Bart's in the Air Force. Bart's not a terrorist. These guys are terrorists. That's what they do.
To be fair, fair Bart. Wow, easy for me to say. The Baroness is packing heat in a tank top. Come on.
To be bear fart. Wait.
Yeah, a bear fart. You said fart.
Anyway,
these figures look great, but they should come with patches.
You'd think, man. I mean, how how far do you have to go to get a stinking patch around here?
How come we're getting more figures than patches? This is bullshit.
James Gavsey, what do you think of the stretch goals?
I think they're doable. I got to tell you, the Baroness kicks ass. Is, going back to the 80s, Baroness was always like a very in-demand action figure, which was weird because there weren't a lot of, you would think it would be Destro or someone else, but no, she was very much demand. Everyone knew she kicked a lot of ass. I'm down with this.
Phil Donnelly, you have a favorite?
It probably is Baroness, but I am surprised. The rumor was saying Raven as the female Night Raven character from the cartoon, which is probably a little bit more versatile with a jet figure, but I'm not going to complain about another Baroness sculpt.
Right. We even covered that rumor when you were on a couple weeks ago, but I'm pretty glad that it's not like that. No offense to the Raven fans out there, but that figure doesn't fit with a Rattler, right? Like it's just wrong.
Yeah, but I just don't think we're going to be getting a Night Raven anytime soon.
Maybe the drone, maybe the spy drone from the back of the Night Raven.
I think we're more likely to get a Rise of Cobra Night Raven than a classic one.
Rob is not a Raven fan. Nobody wants Raven.
I mean, she was in one episode of the Deke cartoon, right?
No, it was season 2 of Sunbow.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Okay, I got to rewatch.
She squared off with Slipstream, so.
In one episode?
One episode.
But there were female Night Raven pilots in the movie.
Hey, I'm all for representation. I'm just saying, who's the most important G.I. Joe character who was only in one episode ever?
Tristan McDonald. Tristan McDonald is going to put that ugly Falcon head on a Night Force body and call him Night Force Patches.
I mean, if one of the heads is relegated to Night Ops, it should be that mutant Falcon head.
Right. The fewer people getting a clear look at that one, the better.
I'm pretty sure he's got a Superman shirt under that and goes, "Hey, you guys."
Even Foster says he thinks the Night Raven is on the table, as is the Whale. I think that's some wishful thinking, but you never know.
He was pushing hard for the Whale at Comic-Con. I'm going to say that.
I think we have a couple of steps intermediate. Like each one has gotten progressively larger, and so I dig where you're going with this, but I think we've got a little ways to go before. I'm not going to say, oh no way, no, it'll not, because invariably that's just going to guarantee that it happens. And I've given Eben a reason to throw things in my face 5 years down the line. So I'm not going to do that. But I think we have steps to take before we get to a full Night Raven or a killer whale.
Can't you just see the HasLab Night Raven, though, where the 5th unlock is the drone and the 1 through 4 unlocks are patches?
Patches.
Yeah.
Be fantastic.
Yeah.
So anyways, we got some dimensions here. The Rattler, 33.5 inches long. With the wings out, it is about 10 inches tall and 32 inches across the wingspan. If you fold the wings up, which is a cool little feature that they've included on this, we are still looking at 34.5 inches long, about 14 inches tall, and only 15 inches wide. So you got a couple of ways to pop this on your shelf when you are not actively playing with it. Which is good. The
foldable wings is a really good idea because some people are like in your typical display case. There ain't no way to put this in. Right.
But honestly, foldable wings might be what saved this for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not going to have a place to put that beast full spread eagle all the time. But rolling it back in the hanger on a shelf once in a while, that's a little bit more doable.
Yep.
Where to go? Bart asks, why do an O-ring Sky Striker but a classified Rattler? Missed opportunity there. Look, that O-ring Sky Striker was a few years ago now, and they were trying to accomplish different things with both the retro line and classified at that point. So it's not apples and oranges. It's not that easy.
Why do an O-ring Sky Striker that's the same friggin' size as the original Sky Striker?
Right.
That's a better point.
Why do the O-ring Sky Striker if your plan is to cancel the O-ring line less than a year later?
Yeah,
That's the annoying part.
That's true.
Look, I never had a Sky Striker, so I was thrilled to be able to get the best version of one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was not happy when they just kind of dumped it. Anyhow, and then we've got our last clip here in the Rattler. That's everything. That's all of it. You can see the display stand. We've got the extra tier figures on there. We've got all the missiles, all the blast effects. Just a real cool package. And Phil, you were there. You saw it live. James, you saw it live. On a scale of 1 to 10, how awesome are we talking?
It's pretty awesome. I'd go, on a bad day, it's an 8, but it might be up to a 10.
I did not see this live, but I would give this a 10. And I'm, as you can tell, I'm not a huge collectibles type of person, but I would buy this right now.
I would like to point out there is a little feature on there that doesn't translate well into the pictures they were giving. If you were actually there in person, you could actually see that the damage panel lighting changed color like it was meant to be like an electrical fire.
Yeah, it's got the damage panel works with the lights in the plane. So
That's cool.
That is pretty cool. That's very cool. But Mark Weber, you didn't see it live.
Nope.
1 to 10.
I mean, it's got to be a 9, right? I mean, it's fantastic. It's everything you could possibly want. Some things that you hadn't even thought about, like foldable wings, which is great. The whole thing is a win. It just loses 1 point for the patches. So it's 9.
For patches.
Yep. 1 point not marked down. Lucky I didn't mark it down 1 each for each patch. Could have been a 7.
Cruel. Yeah. Needlessly cruel.
9 out of 10. Any unlock, any HasLab where the unlock is a patch or friggin' chairs for the bar automatically loses 1 grade. It's like turning in a paper late. Derek Holloman knows what I'm talking about.
But Surveillance Port says, why does it come with 2 thermonuclear bombs? Because the Rattler don't fuck around. That's why.
Yeah.
They're not the good guys.
Yeah. Ask my friends Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Right.
There you go.
Fat Man and Little Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Toy Bounty Hunter asks, do you think they'll make a Rattler Ground Crew 3-pack like they did the 788 team for the Hiss? I would count on it. They're going to tie stuff in with this all next year. You just wait. They're not going to ask you to spend $325 on a plane package and then just leave it out there for nothing else. No. We're going to see some extra stuff connected to this too. But, and of course, Rob wants Rancor bones.
I have some.
Anyways, again, check us out on Instagram. You can see all of the Rattler pictures you could possibly want to see from both Hasbro and the man on the bottom of the screen, Phil Donnelly. One more round of applause for Phil doing all kinds of work for us last week.
Well done.
Yeah.
So check that out. And of course, subscribe to the damn Instagram. For Christ's sake, grow something on this channel, would you? Anyways, moving forward. Next news item.
Insta-damn.
And then came the Hasbro Pulse panel, G.I. Joe brand panel, which Phil got in trouble for live streaming.
Yes, I did.
So, again, thanks to Phil and Articulated Points for going to the clink for us. For all of us.
They almost wanted to escort me out of the panel. I had to show them I actually did, in fact, shut down the live stream before they let me go.
Surveillance Port asked, Phil, did you yell out, fight the power as they shut you down?
Oh, well, I didn't want to upset Emily or Lenny. They weren't the ones shutting me down.
I'm telling you, man, you had a chance to stick it to the man, Phil. But Steve Young, 2-time All-Pro, concurs. Thank you, Phil. two-time first team All-Pro, Steve Young, I should say.
Watch out for Aeneas Williams. Just saying.
We're going to take this a little out of order. It's going to be in our order just because I like letting it go from least exciting to most exciting. We had some name-only reveals. They were at the end of the presentation, but heavy duty, Law and Order, and then the retro offerings for the next wave, Rock and Roll, Dr. Mindbender, and the Cobra Officer, all name-only reveals.
Wait, Cobra Viper, right?
Yes. What did I say?
Officer.
Cobra Officer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Cobra Viper is correct. So
Heavy duty better be in his armor check.
I think he needs that folding fighting card table of death.
Nice. with the Cyclops wannabe visor. Yeah.
But there's already been some pictures of some Viper kit that have leaked out there in various places. So
isn't this image the digital mock-up of their Matthew Lesko figure that's coming out?
That is actually a blacked out silhouette of WWE wrestler Giovanni Vinci.
Oh, who needs work? I'm glad he found work.
Did they fire him?
Clean.
I don't know if he got fired, but he got his ass beat, and he hasn't been on TV since. So
yeah, he's certainly been off of TV for a few months now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's been on Main Event, and we just haven't been paying attention.
So you're telling me that Giovanni Vinci doesn't have a book that'll tell me about government programs?
He does not to my knowledge, anyway. Maybe he does. I can't. I guess. Safe answer. I can neither confirm nor deny.
That's fair.
James Gavsey, do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I like the retro stuff. I got to tell you, whenever they announce something about that's retro, I get excited. It lets me kind of revisit my childhood and also, my not so childhood when I still collected some stuff way back in the day. I like that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's at Comic-Con, there was a whole bunch of new stuff, but the retro everything kind of just caught my eye. So I'm down for that.
Yeah, they've done a really good job since they've relaunched the retro line in G.I. Joe. They've generally done a good job with them. Some of the figures have been a little disappointing, but for the most part, they've been winners. And the packaging on them is superb. That card is thick enough to stop a bullet. Now it is.
Yeah.
Now it is. Yeah. Now that it's not a Walmart exclusive line, it's been great. So, and Duke, Scarlet, Recondo, Beachhead, all winners.
Shipping in actual boxes.
Right. That always helps. So if you see any of them around, James, they're there calling to you.
My kids are old enough now where I'm allowed to have nice things again. So I'm down.
You think that?
That's true.
Are they teenagers yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I imagine they'll just, our experience with Mark Webber is that they're just going to ruin things in a more grandiose fashion.
Probably.
Right. After the show, you'll have to tell them about Megatron.
Hey, one official correction we want to put out there. I just got a text from Joe Colton. She says the Recondo figure is ass.
She is incorrect.
And not half ass.
No.
Full ass.
Full ass.
Yeah.
I am curious how Dr. Mindbender is going to come out, because that first figure is pretty close to the original. Are they just going to slightly change the shade of purple for his pants?
Yeah,
maybe. Mindbender is one of the few figures where there was actually an issue getting enough of them out there. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's pretty close to the original. See, Surveillance Board teaching you how to make a full ass. Oop, everything moved.
What?
There you go. Full
There
ass
it
with
is.
keyboard keys there. See?
That's pretty good.
Ask the ask.
Wow.
That's why he's our primary news source, right?
Mhm.
Michael Gene Fleming, who's a youngin', is hoping for retro 1993 Battle Corps Mindbender.
I would welcome that.
You would,
Cyborg
but
Mindbender is great.
you're weird. You're so weird.
Nobody liked Battlecopters.
Battlecopters came with the best version of Ace. Also Interrogator, sir.
He
Wait a minute,
knows.
that was Blue Ace, right?
Yeah.
The green version of that Ace was far superior.
The green version's hair melts when you put his helmet on.
Well, don't put his helmet on.
I'm
Well,
gonna
then he
kick you
doesn't
both
look
out.
like a pilot for geared up in his
I
jet.
suppose that's
Next
Then-
semi news item.
Head swap the blue head onto the green body. Do. That's my kind of custom, baby.
That's true. That's Lazy Bastard custom.
Yeah.
We got some digital renders revealed there. We got to, of course, for their Leatherneck and Xandar for
Redhead.
if you can't get enough of 1986, and Lord knows I can't. But there they are. Leatherneck's a big win for me. Love Leatherneck. Glad. I always like it when they do them well. Mark, your run on 25th, we saw good Leatherneck.
Right?
Kudos to you on that.
Appreciate that. He was new tooling too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a big old fella.
And we made him big, yeah.
Yeah. Like he was on the cartoon.
I'm not mad about him coming with sunglasses, but was that ever a thing?
I don't know.
I kind of
I want to say the mech version that came in Valor versus Venom had it.
I always pictured Leatherneck as being too angry to need sunglasses, right? Like the squint was his natural look.
Right. And you know what? They come off, so
yeah, it's fine. Yeah, no big deal. But
yeah, I'm not upset about it.
We wouldn't want to give removable glasses to Torch or anything.
Yeah, but they were such a flame out with Buzzer and Ripper. I can understand.
I guess.
I know you're sore about that one, but
it's not that they're not removable, but that they're sculpted like they're actually part of his body. Right? It doesn't look like he's wearing them. He looks like he's a Cylon.
Cheapest Big Spender asks, does this Leatherneck have a removable mustache? Yes, but you can only take it off the once. And it's probably with a steel file.
I mean, this is way too inside baseball, but I'm excited about Leatherneck and Law and Order, even though they're great, they're fine, but they were never my favorite shows.
Right.
But I like that they're new stuff that Ron and Kirk can autograph, right? That's kind of cool. So,
yeah.
All right, more power to you.
And Xandar there, he very much looks like he could be Zorana's sister. Hopefully his arm doesn't pop off at a moment's notice, but hey, if they do, I hope it's the different arm so that we get that cool twin vibe.
I didn't even notice him there.
They did confirm in the Q&A that he will have his striping underneath the vest.
Okay.
Why does he have a leather cuff on his left hand or left forearm? And everything has function, right? It's not just fashion.
You think that's weird?
No, I think so. One of the things that, in all seriousness, one of the things that really intrigues me is just that, there's thought put into these figures, why, so when I see that, I do a lot of martial arts stuff and weapon stuff and what have you. When I see that, I'm wondering, hey, did the designer say that left hand is going to be used almost like to protect him from like a knife slash or something? I like to kind of figure out what was the functionality. I get it. They're collectibles. It looks cool. I just, I wonder what that's there for.
He comes with a couple of knife weapons there, so I'm sure it was something along
Maybe it's more
lines.
to deal with the firing arrow launcher he has. Wrist guards, he doesn't.
I think a redhead with a random left wrist covering is totally plausible.
Oddly enough, that's what you'd be wearing when you star in my multi-million-dollar tentpole movie as Scottish and Jamaican Chewbacca. You'd be
that's what he
roles.
wears every day of his life, James.
Chewbacca with a wristband would be amazing.
Really? Seriously, it's not even that bad. I mean, the acolyte could have been saved.
Right?
Scottish Chewbacca. Just putting that
Chewbacca on Hoth should have been like, God damn, it's cold out here. Give me a wristband.
Maybe some pants. Wait,
right?
Just a wristband. Greg Augustin asks if that's a QB sleeve.
Nailed it.
Because I always know the play. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Tiny fly landing on my screen.
Right.
And then, of course, there was the Cobra Claw with Pilot, which a lot of folks are taking as the big winner on that one. That claw is a hoss. That is far bigger scale than even the original claw.
In the original claw, wasn't basically the base of the butt of the Pilot at the back of the claw?
Yeah, more or less.
Right.
Yeah, that's a big claw. Like
I
the
don't.
front,
It's fine for what they're going to sell it for. That they're giving you more. Okay.
yeah, like it's one of those where I'm not complaining about it. I am more of from a design standpoint, I liked it more in 25th anniversary when they made the claw smaller. They didn't put out a good version of it, but I liked the idea of it being more of the Cobra version of a jetpack.
Yeah.
Whereas this sucker is built to go some distance. Derek Holloman says that Lenny said they'd be as big as his forearm, and I believe it.
And Lenny was Road Warrior Animal for Halloween, so
Right.
that ain't no typical forearm.
That's a big forearm.
Hey, can I ask the assembled masses something?
Sure.
Because actually I do have a new monitor and I'm not sure the resolution is right. What color is the Cobra logo on that pilot's chest?
Yeah, if I do have one nitpick, that should be silver.
I mean, I think that'd be cool, but I'm not saying it has to be silver, except that they're giving it a friggin' officer's helmet, right?
Yeah.
Get it right. You've been getting this wrong regularly since I left.
Surveillance Port confirms that it's Schrumple.
Oh, that's good.
Schirmple.
Dig it. It ain't hard. And bookmark this if you need it, folks. And by folks, I mean people working on the brand. The chevron on the helmet goes with the officer. It always has. Until recently. It ain't hard. Get that right. And fix this because you've got time. It's an easy fix.
James, are you still glad you joined us tonight?
I am, because I'm actually looking up some of this stuff.
Hey, Yorktown Joe brings up a good point here. It's a render.
There is time to fix it. They do have. There were some other digital shots out there, so
yeah.
I don't want to get everybody's hopes up and say, yeah, this is going to happen, because I doubt it's going to happen.
Yorktown Joe, how much you want to put on that? On it being fixed or it not being fixed? There's two ways to fix it. You can make the Cobra logo silver. That's as easy as telling the factory, hey, just change the color on that paint head. Or you can change the friggin' helmet and make it accurate. Two fixes for one mistake. So I'll put some money down on that. Anybody want to take that action? Anybody?
The real KJB says it's a V for Viper now, because sure.
It's not a V for Viper. That's not even a Viper.
He's trying, man. Welcome to the show, by the way.
Stop explaining away the mistakes. Demand better.
You're giving them an opportunity to make jokes at their expense, though, Marks. They're going to take that.
Demand better. That's all I'm saying.
I tend to agree. That's a little thing, but it's a little big thing at this point.
You did it right.
It happens all the time. If it happened once, it'd be one thing, but it's happened a few times now.
Yeah. Look, I hate He-Man. I hate He-Man. But if I was the new brand manager on He-Man, I would look this stuff up, right? And I would make sure that Hordak's horns were in the right place, right? Or that Skeletor's fuzzy britches came down his leg long enough, right?
Right. Maybe a little longer.
It's lazy. It's unprofessional. Do your job.
Maybe you make the fuzzy shorts a little longer, Mark. Maybe a little more coverage.
Just for prudence's sake, right?
Right. Just to make us all a little more comfortable.
Maybe Beastman's in charge since he's all redhead.
Right.
I'm just saying.
And then we get to the pre-order figures. First one here is the Marine Corps Sniper from the 60th anniversary selection. You can see there that I'm impressed by how many different looks you can give this one figure. You can see there, that's almost like two completely different kit outs. And again, you can find the whole gallery posted on our Instagram, which is at
Instadam.com.
What's on Joe Mind?
Thank you.
You can find
Joe
all
Lally.
these photos on at What's on Joe Mind.
All these photos and more.
Hey, Cheapest Big Spender's got a good point.
The former head of marketing of Hasbro taking bets.
No, I'm not, because nobody was willing to step up on it getting fixed.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen.
It ain't getting fixed. I know
I'd
it. You know it. The American people know it.
And you can see there she's $34.99. Pre-orders are open now. Got a couple of different heads, couple of different hairstyles. Got the ghillie suit, which they're real proud of in the panel, and they've got a good reason to be. All kinds of different gear. They got the Uzi, which doesn't make a ton of sense, but looks neat. Because everybody likes Magnum PI. Everybody. James Gavsey, you like Magnum PI?
I love Magnum PI, especially the new season. I know a couple of gun people on it. They're fantastic. Love it.
No.
Yes. Yes, I said it. I knew we were going with it.
Magnum reboot. Oh, no. No. I'll not have stupid sexy Higgins.
I'll take her.
Right.
Because that was a downgrade for sure.
Right. I mean, look, sure, we would all take stupid sexy Higgins, but as Higgins, no, absolutely not. The whole core of that dynamic was that those two loved to hate one another or hated to love one another. And they like that. That's a bromance right there. And they messed that up. Anyways, Figure Six Pack asked, does the hat come off? I think so. Phil, you saw it up close. Does the hat come off?
I want to say if you go back to the previous picture, which shows it with the hat off.
That's a big ass.
I think so. I would have to comb through the hundreds of photos that you sent to us over the weekend, all available on our Instagram at What's on Joe Mind. Rachel Salinas asks, I dig it. Why isn't this the non-Night Force shooter? Because that's the only shooter we ever got. So I don't know if we necessarily needed non-Night Force shooter, but that's a good question.
If you want it to be, it can.
Right? You can pop shooter's head on there and it'll work. It's all the same. It's all good.
Or the head it's already got there can pass fine enough. There's no definitive look for shooter.
Phil, follow me here, and I'm asking you because you saw it up close, right? I like that they're interchangeable hands. I like that the interchangeable heads. I like that you can change the skin tone / racial makeup of it, or buy two, so you've got two different female snipers. But isn't the neck visible on this figure? The skin of the neck,
which is why I am trying to look up the old picture I took of it a few days back.
Is there a replacement Caucasian neck for the Caucasian head?
Let me see here.
Phil, don't put it up to the camera. Just tell us.
There is, yes.
Okay.
So it comes with two necks?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you look closely at the boonie neck, the neck is attached to the boonied head. It's got a collar on it, so it's kind of blending in with the rope around it.
Okay. Good. Then I got no point here. And Surveillance Port's got a good point.
In that you don't know what a tan is?
Yeah. He can also kiss my ass, just saying. And I like Surveillance Port.
And also in the picture I took, she is wearing the goggled head. So yes, the boonie does come off.
Don't hate on him because you can't tan, Mark.
It's not my fault. It's like me making fun of Ric Flair's dyslexia. I would never do that.
It's no good.
Danny Vartime with the pun of the night.
That's next level. Well done. Well done.
Yeah, I'll get that up.
That's next level, sir. James, aren't you glad you joined us?
Listen, I'm getting an education here.
As we descend further into madness.
And, I've been told that, discovering things or knowing things is half the battle.
Mm-hmm.
That's the rumor. It is at least 48% of the battle.
I had this conversation with my son at Comic-Con where he said, what does that expression mean? I told him, and he said, okay, let's say you're in the ocean and a shark's coming right at you. You're fully aware it's a shark coming at you and you're in the middle of the ocean you're just swimming there. And you know half of what's going on. Is that really half the battle? Is that half the battle? And I'm like, I don't know. So I don't know if that expression is actually correct.
If you know that you can punch a shark on its nose and it will turn away, then you are better prepared than if you did not know that.
But is that half the battle?
It is. If they bite you.
Leroy Jenkins, he said, call.
Leroy Jenkins.
And then
But-
the other half of the battle is battle.
Yeah.
Fair. I can't wait for this figure to come out so I can give that ghillie suit its silver medal.
And then we got to see the 60th anniversary action pilot / Halo jumper, which I have to admit is kind of a weird combination. But you can see there, we got a good shot of him in the daytime, and then a whole gaggle of him in night ops, because that's what you want. You want a whole gaggle of night ops, guys.
I gotta say, I have passed on all the classified action releases. If it doesn't have a code name, I don't need. In my collection, I don't need it. But I am so down with this Halo jumper. Like, I just one look, and I'm like, I'm in. This guy,
cool.
He totally sold me. So
He's pretty cool. And you can see there, he's got the parachute. Also a deluxe figure. That's a pre-order on sale for $34.99. Another Pulse exclusive. He's kitted out as well. He's got that big rucksack, couple of different helmet options, some goggles, all kinds of machine guns. He's loaded up, man. He's ready to go.
I know there was a little confusion in the panel about, this is not a functional parachute. The parachute itself is cloth, but the backpack is plastic, and it's like the rubbery, so it's not going to open up on you and explode the parachute. That's why he's saying don't drop it.
But if you had the parachute out and dropped it, would it support the figure on a descent? Or no?
It looks like it's probably big enough, but I would say start from a low height first.
Fair enough.
Greg Augustin asks, is he a pilot or a jumper? And the only answer I can give is yes.
Yeah, you can't really be both.
Again, I got nothing. I
guess every pilot can become a Halo jumper in the right circumstance.
Right. He's just a terrible pilot, so he just decided to get prepared to run some infantry, much like the Joes in the old cartoon. Those Sky Strikers are going.
You're in the cartoon.
Those Sky Strikers are going down. They don't even show you landing them. They're just going down. So just pack your rifle.
They're like disposable razors.
I believe that's actually how they train you in the cartoon. They don't bother with the landing scenario. It's just jump out.
Right.
Couldn't every character in the cartoon, especially the original cartoon, pretty much do everything that every other character in the cartoon could do at almost an equally high level? Like if they went underwater somewhere, they were all able to fight underwater. We're all underwater combat specialists, just as good as the person leading the mission because they were an underwater combat specialist. I just don't want to say that is the robustness of a well-trained anti-terrorist organization. Another reason why it's great to be American, by the way.
If you look in the background of that heavy water underwater fight scene, Torpedo is just leaning on one of those smokestacks going, this is some bullshit, man. It's like my thing.
There's always that one guy.
Yeah.
Right.
While Breaker is kicking ass as a frogman. Like, come on.
It was his union mandated break.
I think so.
Mike, how many
double overtime at that point?
How many of these are you going to buy just to use the parachute as Spider-Man webbings?
6.
Yeah, I figured.
But yeah, so again, if you're flying a Sky Striker in Act 2 of a Sunbow cartoon, you're part of the infantry raiding force in Act 3. That's for sure. But so he's available there, $34.99. Strong offer. Again, the labeling on these two figures is a little weird, but that belies the fact that these are real solid offerings. The same way that the infantryman and the diver were in the last wave. These guys are pretty cool.
I think it's fair to point out the old action pilot was always kind of exemplified by the paratrooper they went with. So this is probably just an updated take on that.
Right. It's just weird to brand him the action pilot. But whatever. Again, I'm not upset. It's a cool figure. I can call him whenever I want.
Larry.
Pablo.
Leroy Jenkins.
His name is El Gringo Loco.
And then we get into the main classified line. This is Rapcho. I mean Raptor.
Looks nothing like me.
No. I do have some photos where he looks more like you. I'll show you them later. We'll get to them next week.
Okay.
But Raptor was one of the great lamos of the Cobra year 1987, and they've turned him into something. What do you think, Mark Weber?
I like him. You absolutely had to update this guy, right? You couldn't just put out modern Raptor, because even old school Raptor was a little bit sketchy. So
Right.
40 years hasn't changed that, right? So
Right.
I think if you're gonna do Raptor, this is exactly what he should look like. I think this guy's full of wind for what he is, right? So yeah, go to it. It's Vulture meets Wolverine. Like, come on now.
Raptor, I'll admit, Raptor was one of my favorite characters in the old comic because he was just the accountant, and he happened to be this crazy guy in a bird suit. And everybody felt a little weird about him, but hey, he was a really kick-ass accountant. So they kept him around and ignored the bird stuff. And then he died in the freighter. Phil, what do you think?
I think he looks a little goofy without the helmet. I kind of wish they'd put the mask part as part of that. But yeah, giving him more of a VTOL wings, the whole MCU Vulture vibe, I can dig it.
And of course, he comes with the bird General Ledger. James Gavsey, rate that pun.
General Ledger.
General Ledger.
I'll bet it is. No, that's a horrible name. There's nothing good. There's no redeeming value with that name whatsoever. I will tell you this. I prefer it without the helmet because it gives off a cool Jason Todd Nightwing kind of thing going on. And I'm a huge Batman fanatic. So, anytime you can combine G.I. Joe with Batman, I'm all for it. So, yeah, I'm more of the and by the way, on the other side, without the helmet, it looks like he's about to shoot the Falcon on his arm, which I'm all for that too. Because
so, Racktime Rob is sitting across the room. Give me a head shake or a head nod, according to what James said there. Head shake, yes or no?
it's a yes.
Never mind. He's blowing it. No, never mind. He's off.
You blew it.
As Mark admonishes the sick guy. Steve Young asks, is that a play on Admiral Ledger from Real American Hero? I would say no, it's more an accounting joke. Those are tough. I get it. But he, too, is a deluxe figure. He was $34.99. He is available for pre-order now, wherever you get your stuff online. He's pretty cool. I dig him.
Wherever fine birdmen accountants are sold.
All right, this was another one where I was thinking, if they go the wrong direction with this, I'd be comfortable skipping it, but they did not. He's pretty awesome.
General Ledger, like seriously, I can't let that go. Who thought that was a good idea for? Was it a Falcon? Is that a Falcon? Right, it's a Falcon.
Right.
Who thought like of all the cool names, all the cool Snake Eyes,
he's an
Roadblock,
accountant.
General Ledger.
He's an accountant.
Did someone like lose a bet? Did someone
again? Accounting jokes are hard, James.
Was someone smoking crack while doing accounting? Something that happens all the time in Hollywood. Like I just don't get it.
It's probably better than general deduction.
Yeah. I like that they
I kind
can't
of like that one better.
I do like that one better.
They legally can't just call him Raptor, so he's Chip. Hey, it's
It's
Chip.
short for Chippington.
Right.
Chip Talon. He's Raptor. Anyways, it's a bad accounting pun, man. I don't know what else to tell you.
And that chest cut's looking terrible like usual.
But
They haven't had a figure in a long time that was bare chested, right? That really showed off the grossness of the brutal chest cut.
He's even got some extra vertical lines going through it to mess with you, Mark.
Yeah.
But he does have the Jesus abs though, so that's a plus.
Right. Yeah. That way you can hide the cut better. It's hard to hide the cut on a fat guy.
Yeah.
Speaking
Like
of
the, like the Dusty Rhodes action figure from WWE. Like, come on out. Looks like the Michelin Man.
That was probably no accident. Anyhow. And then lastly, for the upcoming
Speaking of,
hey man, don't be knocking Road Pig. You don't get super 6-pack abs drinking grape soda and eating chocolate covered donuts all the time.
dude, I'm totally fine with him being a beefy ass kicker, right? It's just there's no way to do beefy with the ab cut because it's an ab cut.
Right.
My friend who has no money made that exact same hammer and thought he did a great job making Thor's Mjolnir. Like that is just it's just so I've seen that
your
before.
friend's name Donald by chance?
No.
Right. I love this figure. I think he's great. I'm glad that we're seeing different body types in G.I. Joe Classified. I'm glad everybody doesn't look the same. So I'm okay with him being kind of a doughy, gigantic guy. Every team needs a left tackle, and this is the Dreadnoks.
Plus, if you ever actually look at Olympic powerlifters, this guy's actually pretty trim.
Yeah,
Truck pylon.
Yeah. So that skull he's got on his right shoulder pad, by the way, he's got shoulder pads, which are pretty expensive, but can't afford a shirt. That skull is about the same size as his dog's head. I don't want to project or even come up with any horrible conclusions here, but yeah, I wonder what he does with Mjolnir if his dog ever disagrees with him.
Yeah, he balances out them shoulder pads.
Right.
That's what happened to the last accountant. But
his dog was his accountant. Balance sheet. Right. Just profit and loss. Yeah. Last time I wore shoulder pads with a dog skull on one shoulder, I felt really socially awkward without another matching dog skull on the other side.
I don't think it's a dog skull on his shoulder. I think it's a people skull on his shoulder.
That's a small person.
Well, yeah.
It's a monkey skull if you want.
Could be. You know what? Probably not a lot of homeless people in this neighborhood. You know why?
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, they end up on
Road Pig.
Shoulder pads.
Technically, they're still in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But Danny of our time says that the head sculpt is derpy. Road Pig's kind of derpy. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fair.
That's part of the character. He is not the brightest candle in the chandelier. So
I like his knee pads.
Slab bulkhead.
I'm going to bring. Here's an old point and an old marketing hack going on again. Looking just at the packaging, how much dead space is being wasted on this?
Yeah.
Why is the Joe logo so small? It doesn't have to be uniform to smaller packaging.
Yeah.
Why is the Cobra logo offset and smaller than it needs to be?
Yeah.
Maybe with all that space, you could put a Dreadnought logo to the lower right of the Cobra.
Right.
Just saying.
It looks like they're keeping the logo the same size across all different packages, which, I would probably resize that.
Makes no sense. It's a waste of real estate.
I was going to buy it, but now I won't.
No, I'm just saying it, but I mean, that little stuff can make, it makes a difference. It doesn't cost anymore. Do you want better, more visible branding or smaller? You pick, right?
Yeah. The packaging, again, we're glad the window is back, but there's really nothing that says buy me to anybody on the new packaging. So
I don't have any problem with the packaging itself. I'm just saying that's basic fixes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Jeff Butler knows what's going on.
I mean, he does it every week. You should tell your friends, or maybe click the little thumbs up button over there, because you guys have been slacking on that a little bit the last couple of weeks.
Just saying, Professor Webb, right?
I know a lot of you haven't even watched last week's episode. Why? Because nobody's watched last week's episode. So you're all guilty. Go watch last week's episode. And he is part of the pet assortment, so he's a little bit more expensive. He's got a dog named Raucous, and I dig that he's got a dog, because somebody's got to love this poor guy. He is $44.99, same as Mutt. And so he is available for pre-order now.
Look at those two hammers. One looks kick-ass, like a road pig kind of thing, right? Dual or maybe a boar's head, whatever it is. And the other one's just I mean, is one formal wear? Like when he's going out to the theater, is he bringing the boar's head hammer with him?
I would say, yeah.
Okay.
The cinder block is what came with the original figure. And then they realized that would last exactly one hit.
Yeah. From a guy that size, but whatever. It looked cool. I liked it.
Cheapest big spender is trying to pub me up.
That's why Mark is the former head of marketing for
Apple. I can't figure out why I'm the former head of marketing, but I appreciate it.
That decision was made by someone far above your pay grade.
Yep.
Which is never a good sign.
Nope. The Combiner Wars made too much money, and the other brand managers are feeling inadequate. So we figured out how to solve that problem. Okay.
Oh, goodness. And then we did have a little bit more. We got the first 2-pack in the line worth one Joe and one Cobra. The Steel Brigade Commander and the Twilight Guard, which that's a terrible name and needs to get reworked.
Yeah.
Sounds like they lost Shadow Guard.
Right. Won't spend too much time on this because these guys are straight up repaints. Cool that they doing the Steel Core Commander in the variant colors from the old figure. Cool that they brought back the black clad Crimson Guardsman from 25th anniversary. I believe that was a Mark Webber creation as well.
No, I forget if I did it first, but
there was a 5-pack of them back in the Valor versus Venom days.
Yeah, I guess there was.
He was probably an easy repaint when I didn't have much tooling.
Right. So that's there. That is a pre-order $54.99 for the 2-pack there.
You misspelled Steel Core there.
I did because it was really late when I was putting these slides together.
Just saying.
Really
expect
late.
C and D in the morning.
Being the legal action force here.
Right. I'm gonna get sued by Mark.
The only thing I don't like about this is the 3/4 cape is kind of cool, but man, I was hoping that would be Destro V2, right? I don't know that I want to see that before Destro V2. Not that it's exactly the same as his, but
right.
I don't know.
It's probably going to be pretty close.
Yeah.
It goes over the other shoulder for Destro.
Hey, I mean, you can take it off, right? It's not a big deal, but
that's all I'm saying. Thank God it's an accessory. It can always come off.
Yeah.
It might have to because I don't think you can fit the backpack on otherwise.
The next day at the Hasbro Transformers panel, we got to look at this guy. He checks a couple of boxes for me. I always liked Cup because he was the old guy that told stories in Transformers the movie. But he transforms into Sarge's little mini tank, the Triple T. That's a pretty good looking Cup. I have to give some credit there. If you squint, that looks like Cup looked in the old cartoon. Coming with Leatherneck and the Sarge, which again, always a win. Cool that they're doing some O-ring versions of those guys. They don't get the opportunity to get too much love, except for recent times with Sarge. So, Surveillance Sport says best of the 4 crossovers so far. I agree. Jim on Sports still trying to give names to Road Pig. But
and if you're wondering why he comes with Leatherneck, it's because Leatherneck was pictured on the box art.
Right. That simple. James Gavsey, what do you think here?
I love it. I'll tell you why. Because I had a Cup Transformer back in the day. This does look in the robot form a lot like Cup. I'm not crazy about those weird looking handguns he's got. But other than that, I think this is spot on, fantastic. Anything to give Cup more star power, more focus, I'm all about that.
Well, the handguns he's holding are actually the side guns from the Triple T. So
I'm pretty sure he can tell, Phil. I'm pretty.
No, that's
I'm
okay. No,
sure.
I think they're very dainty.
They are. They're a little weird. The mounts do make them kind of strange, but
I actually think he looked tougher without him.
Well, yeah, he's Cup, man. He don't need no
That's right.
gun.
He's got. He knows what's up. Yeah, he can do whatever. He's good.
He's got the back launching rockets if he wants.
Right?
Plus, I'm sure he just throw Sergeant Slaughter at whatever. I mean, that's the best gun. He's like got a gun that shoots Sergeant Slaughter. Like, what are you gonna?
It's a cannon, sir, that launches.
Yeah, tomato. Yeah.
Mark Webber, what do you think?
I think it's constructively, it's fantastic, right? The one lament I have is Cup's main color is kind of a light blue, right? And that's not represented here at all. And maybe you couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, they got it on his arms and his legs. It's kind of hard to tell from the photo.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not real predominant.
Yeah, but it was kind of like Bumblebee coming out of the Ostriker, right? You're going to have to hide that yellow pretty good. So
Right.
I get it. And most importantly, is constructively, what does it look like? That's why people generally pooped on the Megatron his tank, right? Because the tank looked fine, but the robot looked like garbage.
Yeah.
So
And the transformation on that was painful.
yeah. So these two, both the vehicle mode and the robot mode, look great. The figures that come with it look fantastic. What's not to like here, right? Since since it doesn't come with any patches, I'll give it a 10.
That pre-order on this one started earlier today. It is out there for $89.99. So if you're a fan of transforming robots, mixing with your Joes and mingling with your Joes, drinking up all the gasoline in the motor pool, it's there for you. Oh, anyway.
Petro rabbits.
Energon Universe did have one reveal. They talked all about the upcoming comic book. Here's a new dude, new character. His name is Risk. I know a lot of folks were asking about him when we saw the cover art for G.I. Joe #1. He's got some, I would say, spirit elements to him with the Native American themes there, but he is not spirit. He is a new character named Risk. And so he was revealed during the Energon Universe panel. Phil, you were at that panel.
Yes, I was.
Tell us about it.
All right. I know somebody was asking earlier where they could find that. That was on my Twitter feed for Articulated Points, and I covered about as much as I could while, trying to keep up with the slides. I did miss one. I know. I was disappointed in myself. They debuted their new Skybound trailer, which has also gone up on their social media accounts. I did not want to cover that because, again, recording videos where they specifically say, don't record.
Yeah, not much you can do there.
Yeah. So Risk is meant to be like a cage fighter. Sounds like he's got a chip on his shoulder and, tends to take it out by being a little bit more on the edge and taking some extremes. And maybe he doesn't quite get along with the rest of his team at first. So we got a little bit of his personality coming through. We got to see how that plays out in the comics. But it is nice that we are actually getting some new characters in this, and it's not just a rehash of 82 to 86 all the time.
Right.
Yep, absolutely.
Mark Webber, your feeling on new characters?
Love new characters. The whole brand was built on new characters every year. So love it. And I'm not gonna screw around the guy with brass knucks and steel-toed loafers. Come on now.
James Gavsey, you've been reading the Energon Universe.
I sure haven't, but I'll tell you what I think about this guy. The steel-toed loafers. I think more people, especially in the G.I. Joe universe, need steel-toed anything. It just makes so much sense. You're running through, you're at the store, someone's not moving fast enough in front of the buffet, whatever, and you got to send a message. That's how you do it. I love the design.
Next news item.
Do.
Oh, that's it.
It's over.
Remember, Chunky Tank Kitty brought to you by the G.I. Joe 3D Printing Podcast. Your one-stop shop for all your Chunky Tank Kitty news. You see him stationed there in his Meowler tank, ready to blow your eyebrows off. But just one of the many, many, many in-jokes that you're walking into on this, James Gavsey.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed.
Right. We got a ton. We didn't even get into Staff Sergeant Senugs, the full lore, but we could if you want to later. Anyways, we'll be right back with you after a brief message from our wonderful friends and sponsors at Kokomo Toys.
We buy, sell, and trade vintage and modern toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, and more. Located in beautiful downtown Kokomo, Indiana, we are open every Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 5. It's a theme park of nostalgia. Join the thousands of people who have traveled from all over the Midwest for over a decade to buy and sell with us. Get your geek on.
James Gavsey, tell us all about Who Would Win.
Well, Who Would Win is a podcast that I do where I debate with Ray Stacanis, awesome human being, although there's many things I don't like about him on the show because we're on either ends of the debate. We take two characters from different geek culture universes and put them in a fictional battle, random encounter, neutral location, no previous knowledge, no time to prepare. We debate this well. We each get 3 points. We get to rebut the points. And then a celebrity judge, such as Mike Irizarry, comes onto the show and provides a decision about who they think won this fight. We've been doing this for about 5 years. I think we broke over 3 million downloads. This whole show was based off a TV show I was pitching at the time, where I was going to say, hey, let's debate combat sports type of fictional battles, Bruce Lee versus Andre the Giant, for example. And I'm like, you know what? Let's tweak this to geek culture, because who hasn't had these type of debates before with their best friends, wherever they may be? And now it accidentally became a thing. So, that's where we're at with the Who Would Win show, available wherever you download podcasts.
Geek culture gives you a much bigger well to draw from, too, doesn't it?
Kinda. You know, we did Lobo versus Twilight Sparkle, evidently the most powerful of the My Little Pony, people, characters in that universe.
Right.
Of course, we've done the typical Luke Skywalker versus Harry Potter. We do crazy stuff. Batman 66, Batman and Robin from the 60s versus Shaw and Hobbs. That's a fun one. And the combinations get insane and it's fun, but Ray and I really take the debate seriously. We put a lot of pride in this. We research this and put way too much time into researching our characters. It gets crazy. And the fan base, which we call the Legion of Audience, lets us know if they like the decision or if they like the matchup or whatever may be happening.
Phil Donnelly, tell us about
sir.
Articulated Points.
Articulated Points is my podcast where I go on with Patrick Stewart and we do deep dives into action figures and occasionally Disney and other items. And our latest video came out just yesterday as part of Cobra Convergence 8. We show off a bunch of animated character models from G.I. Joe the movie, largely Cobra Law. Yes. So go on and have a look over there. You can find us on YouTube. We're also on Instagram and Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And sometimes we even go down to San Diego Comic-Con and cover conventions.
Celebrity judge Mark Weber.
Yeah.
It's your job to pick a winner.
I mean, I got to say my favorite Who Would Win episode was the 10-second one on Magneto versus the Iron Giant. That was my favorite first round knockout. Yeah, just like that, right?
I thought I had a chance.
Yeah, right.
I thought I had a chance. I thought the Iron Giant would just appeal to Magneto's, childlike, love of giant robots that come after him and his team members to try to eradicate all mutants. I thought there would be something there. I was wrong. You know what? If you don't take a swing, you're not getting on base.
Dude, I'm not holding that against you. You got dealt a raw hand, baby, right there. It was about a 3-second fight. You just heard the Iron Giant go, Hogarth! And that was it.
Super.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
So
and we blew our budget on Vin Diesel voicing the Iron Giant, winning. Like I said, hey, just say like, I can't do Vin Diesel. No one can. He's a national treasure. And couldn't use it. I've got that recording on my computer and just sitting there.
So I'm not actually going to make Mark pick between your two podcasts, but I liked how I gave an impromptu Who Would Win episode.
Yeah.
With Who Would Win as a contestant.
I'm not going to pick double count out. There you go.
Right. Double KO. Everybody loses.
Right.
James. So James, you said you were pitching a TV show, and that was the genesis of this. I've gotten to meet some of your production team. Of course, everybody's met Ray. He was a former guest on the show himself. How did you partner up with that guy?
eHarmony sometimes doesn't get it right, and all of a sudden, anyway. No, the real. So what happened was, we wanted to kind of move things, kind of keep everything local to Los Angeles. And I said, I want to bring someone onto the show who's going to just really bring it, who's a big character and a bigger, personality. So a friend of mine referred me to Ray, and we met at a burger joint, and the person came in with us and said, okay, let's test Ray. Let's have an impromptu who would win match in the burger joint, someplace in the Valley in LA. And I had Abraham Lincoln. He had George Washington. He brought up all this crazy stuff from animated things. I brought up Abraham Lincoln, the vampire hunter, who's the most powerful version of Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
Had the whole, I wouldn't say, but a lot of the people at the restaurant just like cheering us on with our points and counterpoints. And I was like, this is the guy.
Yeah. You said looking for a big character. That is Ray Stacanis. That is with in a nutshell. When we had him on here, we did a special edition with him, and normally special edition is when we're just doing an interview segment, right? We don't do news or anything, and it was to cover a holiday, right? So we figured, well, we'll get Ray in. He can fill an hour. Ray just went for 2 hours, and I don't think he took a breath.
Ray doesn't share that well. We've had this talk, the production team, we talk about marketing and promotions, all that kind of stuff. And I'm told to do more podcasts, and Ray's been told hey, you don't have to do, when you go on a podcast, you don't have to take over the podcast. Ray, of course, didn't listen to that whatsoever. And, we found, that thing he used for dogs, the shock collar. So
right.
We have that for Ray now. Hopefully he wears that, and there'll be one of our producers with him at all times, shocking him into submission. Hopefully that works.
If that doesn't work, might I suggest having him sit down behind the rolling chair as a way of training the dog?
You know what? I think that's a brilliant idea, by the way. Ray's a former pro wrestler, and has taken quite a few chair shots, not like Emma took. That's fair. That's fair. I still, I like how you said you ran over the dog with that chair. I'm sure it's one of your kids, and they still haven't gotten up, since the beginning of the show. And you haven't even cared. You haven't even looked back once to see if your kid's okay. They're just lying on the floor after you ran over the chair. Yeah. I got to tell you, I admire you, sir.
We bring them up tough out here.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Look, they're teenagers now.
Dies,
if they need something, they'll make some
That's
noise.
it. I must bake you. Yes.
Yeah. The Drago parenting method. Fantastic, by the way. That's exactly what America needs more of.
If you cannot get up on your own, daddy doesn't love you.
That's it.
Yeah. I remember my dad telling me that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Explains a lot now that I think about it, but yeah.
So you've been doing Who Would Win for 5 years now.
Yeah, we did doing Who Would Win for 5 years. And, what's great about podcasts, and I think you guys do are seeing this as well, podcasts open a lot of doors. And I'm a producer and, do some cool stuff and pitching different things, developing pilots and all that kind of good stuff. And it's weird how Who Would Win, and it just gets, credibility and opens, doors that I thought wouldn't open. Weirdest things happen when I'm in a pitch meeting or I'm in another presentation and they're like, well, James, tell us about yourself. And I'm like, well, I do. They're like, oh my God, you're James from Who Would Win. I'm like, what? You listen to the show? That's awesome. Great.
Lovely.
Yeah. So I'm very thankful. And that's because of the listeners and the fans and the people that kind of do what they do. Our social media kind of goes off the hook with everything when we put out our posts, and I couldn't be happier with the fan base. And it's an hour out of my week, would not include research, which is 100 hours out of my week. But it's
Right.
so much freaking fun. I just can't stop.
Right. I bet you don't have to beg your listeners to hit the subscribe button.
I'm knocking on wood. We're doing good or well, whatever in that area. It's the one thing I do have to say, I have to calm people down. In some of our socials and our Facebook group, somehow that blew up bigger than our Instagram and our Twitter and everything else. And there's people now almost getting into wars over Really? You think Marvel could take out DC? What kind of and I'm just like, it's okay. Quick question: who here who's arguing has actually kissed a girl? No? Okay, focus on that first, and then come back and kind of let's debate. These anyway. All good stuff.
Well, I mean, within the last 10 years, put a window on it at least. Right?
It gets sad. It gets sad when you ask, and they're like, no one raises their hand. And you're like, okay, have you kissed your mom? And they're like, no. And then you realize that's a whole other thing they haven't. And there's issues here. You know what? And Mike, it's like I don't want to show that I care that much. Like I care, but I don't want to show I care.
Right. You can't get personally invested like that.
I can't solve everyone's problems, Mike. I've told you that many times. And it's a thing.
I don't want. I feel like I'm monopolizing the interview. Phil, you look like you have something to say?
No, I was just.
Are you just relieved that Mark didn't pick who would win over articulated points?
Oh, I think we both know the answer to that.
I don't like it when mom and dad fight.
So, how would you say? What's the biggest difference in what you're doing now as opposed to what you did at the beginning? Because if one thing, we've been doing this for 13 years, right? I'm the one who's been here for most of that 13 years, and this show has been probably 5 different shows over that time. So what you've been doing this for a while now. What's the big change? I know it's been you and Ray the whole time. What's the big change?
Well, okay. So first of all, we have a team, right? We really bring in the team. We listen to everyone on the team, and we believe everyone on the team has a reason for why they want the show to succeed. So everyone's voice is very much taken into consideration. We're very open-minded when it comes to communicating ideas with no backlash and just like, okay, why did you think that or what have you? But the real thing that has helped, that's changed, that's made things so much better, and I think you'll really appreciate this because you guys do it too, is we have a hard structure that we stick to, a format that we stick to. So when it comes to providing a great, entertaining show, it's easy. We've already got it. Ray knows what segments he's doing. I know what segment I'm doing, and we can just make this. Because this is the other thing too. It's like, I was talking to Phil. I don't know, if you guys feel the same way. I love podcasts, as a communication tool, as an entertainment vehicle, but there's no barrier to entry. There's no barrier. So like someone could say like, yeah, we're just like you guys. We recorded something on my phone. I put it up on, Spotify. We're podcasters now. And I was telling the team, listen, we could say we're podcasters, but I look at who would win as a show, right? So it's the who would win show, not necessarily the who would win podcast. And I do that because that terminology makes me say like, hey, I want to rise to the occasion and I want to deliver something insanely entertaining to be able, because, with the who would win debate, it's not just a show. It's not just a podcast. I want to create a sport. I want to create like a fun debate that people can do at Comic-Con or at home or parties, whatever. So many dinner parties I've ruined completely because I throw out a who would win kind of matchup. And, Biff from the country club all of a sudden turns out to be a Harry Potter fan. And, Suzanne, who's a doctor and a brain surgeon, loves Luke Skywalker. And it's just a freaking battle at the dinner table. And my wife's like, this is why we don't get invited back a second time. But I don't care. It just shows that people love doing this.
So what would be the one show, again, now that you've got 5 years worth of shows to what would be the one show where things got out of hand in a way you didn't expect?
Oh, that would be season 1, which we have behind our Patreon wall, thank God, where we did Michael Myers versus Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
and so Ray goes into I remember this, Ray Cicadas, who's actually, I hate saying this, he's actually quite brilliant and a great debater, right? And I remember we go in the recording studio.
But before you get into the specifics of it, who's defending who?
Okay, so Ray's got Michael Myers. Okay, and I've got Scooby-Doo. And Ray thinks this is a slam dunk for Michael Myers. And we had a judge who came in who's like, okay, I don't see how this is going to work for Scooby-Doo. And what I did, the crazy bamboozling that I did, because first of all, I said, okay, let's look at the history of Scooby-Doo. Been running away from pirates and ghosts and aliens and murderers and everything. How often have you seen Scooby-Doo bleed? Never. And Ray's like, well, that's a cartoon. I said, that doesn't matter. He hasn't bled once. He gets hit. He comes back to life very quickly. He doesn't stay down. He rides a pile driver, across the ground, which is crazy. Then he rides it up the wall, then goes upside down and stays there, and then drops it on the ghost pirate, who is Mr. Jenkins or whatever, going on. This guy, he can warp reality, can change physics on the fly. And I said, Scooby-Doo with proof is one of the most powerful beings in all of geek culture, definitely in animation. And the judge was like, holy shit, you're right. And then Ray's like, what the hell just happened? And I showed that Scooby-Doo, if you think about it, is insanely powerful and has taken out aliens, whatever. Michael Myers is nothing.
He's a dog that has lived for 60 years now. He clearly
that in itself is like, holy. I mean, have you seen what Scooby-Doo does with a tail?
Right.
And everyone makes fun of Scooby-Doo for being stupid. He's talking. So what? He gets a word incorrect. It's a freaking talking dog that is a hyper intelligent. This is why my wife gets really angry when I get into these things. And I have, it's a thing.
Dustin Jeffrey notes that not getting invited to dinner parties sounds like a dream. So you're winning fans tonight, James.
You know what? That's not wrong. But getting kicked out of a dinner party is even more fun.
Is that like Phil getting kicked out of San Diego Comic-Con?
Not quite as polite, but
I like that we've established that Scooby-Doo is not a dog at all, but an Omega level mutant.
Thank you.
Cool.
Hey, how many times can you go into one door and come out another?
Thank you. Teleportation. Freaking portation. How does, by the way, changing clothes and acting perfectly like an elderly woman, to fool the ghost pirate.
So we've been saying it wrong his whole life. It's actually Scooby-Doo, Herald of Galactus. Who knew?
I would say Galactus would be the Herald of Scooby-Doo.
Oh.
Yeah. Just like that one time Franklin Richards made that happen. This is how much of a nerd I am when it comes to Marvel and DC. I hopefully can match you guys in great knowledge when it comes to collectibles for G.I. Joe, when it comes to the other side.
Hey. So if you were going to cast a member of G.I. Joe in a Who Would Win episode, and you can't use Snake Eyes, because that's everybody's pick. No ninjas.
That's fair.
Who would you take?
Destro.
Okay.
So Destro, and I had to pause when I was with my daughter when we were watching the original series, and there's a part where Destro shows super durability, insane super strength, on top of being a tactical and strategic genius, right? When the whatever that was, that device that could teleport everyone, when that broke down, he fixed it. The mass device, when that was broken down, he fixed it, right? And he's an insanely great fighter. Plus, I don't know what his head's made out of. Is it really a whole head of steel, or is it just a coating of steel because the mouth is moving, right? I don't know what the hell's up with that. That is a powerful individual that I would take all the time.
Okay.
Beryllium steel in the comics. In the live action movie, nanites. We don't talk about that.
Yeah. It's never clear on the old cartoon there, but still, portrayed with an insane amount of gravitas by a friend of the program, Arthur Burghardt. So he's one of our favorites too. I commend that.
Brilliant. In the live action movie, the mask is seen for exactly 0.7 seconds.
Oh, that's a shame.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
We did do Cobra versus Shield.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It unfortunately was not. Shield has, I did some research, has like magic and beings that are like insanely powerful working for him. It was a walk in the park for Shield. That was a mismatch I had not anticipated.
But Cobra doesn't get hit by anything.
Sure, but they do get hit by punches.
They repel firepower. So punches, whatever, they'll get up. They're punches.
Well, they also run away a lot.
Well,
if you think about it. Yeah. That doesn't help in a fight.
That's fair.
We did Megatron versus King Kong. And what I did, because I'm a jackass, is I cited all the times that Megatron retreated from the original G1 series, where he yells out retreat. Like one time the Autobots put out fire retardant foam, and Megatron felt that was such a threat, he told the Decepticons to retreat.
Right.
So I felt King Kong is probably a greater threat than fire retardant foam.
It's you need to go with comic book Cobra, because that's devious Cobra. That's smart Cobra. That's a get in, and they've already taken over Shield from the inside before they know it's a problem Cobra. So that's where you need to go with that one.
That's interesting. We do have to specify the exact version of the character we're using, right? Or so that's okay. That's good to know. That is good to know.
Go if you're looking for a big organization, comic book Cobra. Now that's an enemy. Cartoon Cobra is just kind of there to move the plot along.
Comic book Cobra duped the entire U.S. government into making them an island out of nothing.
Right.
And then declared it an independent country so they could no longer be invaded.
Yep.
It's kind of brilliant.
A UN rep and everything.
Yeah. But on the other hand, Abe Lincoln would whip George Washington's ass.
I mean, so many reasons why. George Washington suffered from a few diseases. His teeth rotted out, and he had wooden teeth. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was a big guy, though. He's about 6'3", probably 200-something pounds. But Abraham Lincoln was also a catch wrestler. Was like a early MMA guy, and was like 6'4", and didn't have fake teeth. So plus he killed a lot of vampires.
Yep.
People don't know that his head actually filled that entire hat.
Exactly.
He was like the leader.
Yeah.
There's all brain in there.
Also the president. Yeah.
It's a battering ram weapon.
His finisher was the headbutt. So he's got height, he's got reach. Yeah. He always has the high ground. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't have a lot of friends around him to tell him something's about to happen, which I felt was his key weakness.
He led the league in total beard. So we like that too. Yeah. Come on.
He was pretty short on total mustache though. So that's points against him there.
I also deduct points because he liked going to the theater. Right. I just feel like if that's how you spend your free time, going to the theater, I'm like, I have something against the theater.
There's no TV back then.
Right.
Really? You couldn't find like two kids fighting over food and
come on now.
Over there? You
couldn't
find someone on a harmonica doing something or blowing into like a moonshine jug.
Where's
all better forms of entertainment than the theater?
To be fair, he went to a comedy, not a musical or a tragedy.
It kind of was a tragedy. That's what I was going to say.
It turned into one, but it wasn't.
James, what's the harm in going to the theater? What's the worst that could happen?
Right.
It was called Our American Cousin.
Clearly, Lincoln's love of theater was his fatal flaw.
Listen,
there's no arguing this.
The last time I went to the theater, I went with my wife. There was some show going on. I can't remember. To me, the biggest horror movie of all time is Mamma Mia, followed by Mamma Mia 2.
Oh,
and God. I think that's what we saw in the theater. And all I can tell you is I immediately went to my happy place, which was the dessert section of Hometown Buffet out in California, where they have a big vat of cherry pie. And I stayed there for 2.5 hours, the entire length of the show.
I hear stories like this, and it makes me glad I'm divorced.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. God bless you, James.
Thank you.
So it's been, I mean, you've been with us now almost 3 hours at this point, so I don't want to take up too much more of your time. But what's the one thing that we don't know about James Gavsey as of right this second? What's the one thing we need to know?
What's the one thing you need to know about me? That when I was 10 years old, I went into a cow tackling contest in Northern Ontario in a rodeo and won first place.
I was not expecting that.
I feel that's the cornerstone, the keystone, if you will, of the lovely personality that is James Gavsey at this moment.
Did you know Joe Colton as a child?
No.
She grew up outside of Toronto, and she's got all kinds of strange stories from when she was a kid as well.
There's some weird shit happening.
Yeah.
You guys might have been at the same carnival.
Right.
This was a rodeo at what was called the Pinto Valley Ranch in Northern Ontario on the border of Quebec. And I was supposed to enter the calf tackling contest because I was 10. And then the drunk guy running the rodeo said, "No, you're too big, like big. You need to go in the men's division. Just make sure your dad's okay with it." And I look over my dad, and he's had a few beers as well, and just says, "What could happen? Do it." So I go in. And I learned so much about cow tackling. Number one thing, that cows don't like to be tackled. Also, You know how like a horse, when they buck up their back legs, they kick straight back. Cows do it at a diagonal angle, which was really cool seeing some poor guy just get like clocked. And then also you don't want to be under the cow when it lands on you. You want to, and don't put a cow in a headlock. Don't put a cow in a headlock. Not a good way to take it down.
Okay.
That neck is huge.
That was the basis of all my MMA training and everything. That's what kind of got me started.
I mean, being Canadian, I just assumed you put the cow in the sharpshooter. It's hard to flip them, but
it was more of a Goldberg spear.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, that worked horribly for me. That worked. Yeah, I did the spear perfectly, and then what I didn't understand is how physics work. I also was great at doing the water boy scream right before I actually hit the cow, so to entertain the crowd. All of a sudden you say, boom. And I clocked myself, but I didn't stop, and I grabbed underneath, pulled him down. It all worked.
Andrew Galgan, James can neither confirm nor deny knowing of or working with Joe Colton, James's lawyer. Yeah,
that is correct.
That's safe.
Yeah,
that's for the best.
No, there's a lot of stuff about me people should never know, and I will never bring that up. I'm hoping that is lost to the winds of time. But the reason I bring up that story is because I'm at a lot of networking events that get weird, where people are like, well, tell us something interesting about yourself. And people are like, I like to play tennis. I do this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like so bored out of my mind. I'm like, let's liven this up. Cow tackling.
So what I was doing there, I know that you've given us some classified information about a project you have going on. I was leaving the door open if you wanted to say something about that, but hey, cow tackling's good.
So there's been a development in that secret project. All good. I will let you know about how that's going. But I think the cow tackling, and I'm trying to push it forth as a national sport. Unfortunately, I'm in California, where even using the word tackle means people are against it.
Right.
And then I did dare to say cow tackling, and I got banned from like every institution you think of.
It's amazing you don't live in Nevada now.
I've thought about it in Florida, but no, California. There's a magic to LA. I love being a producer. You got to do it, in LA, where you don't actually, but it's fun. Wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
Well, being a producer anywhere else is not good. Phil will vouch for you. He's a producer. Phil's not Phil produces things, but not anything entertaining.
Oh,
wow.
Well, now I didn't mean that. Well, anyways, I've dug a hole.
You laid it in a wee bit there,
right? I was not even. I totally forgot that Phil had a podcast, so I really wasn't even talking about that.
You laid it in a wee bit thick, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, totally by accident.
He'll be crying himself to sleep tonight on his huge pillow.
My bad, man. I mean, you just took 4,000 pictures that we posted on our Instagram feed at What's on Joe Mind. So you'd think I'd be nicer to you, but no, the cruelest cut is completely by accident. So my bad, Phil. Sorry. Watch Articulated Points. Subscribe today.
Totally unappreciated in my time.
Right.
Phil, you have the makings of a great producer, by the way.
Oh, why, thank you.
That's like saying you got a face for radio.
I did have a face for radio. So did you.
There we go. There's the line. Yorktown Joe. Mike backed his chair over Phil there. I sure as hell did. Sorry, Phil.
Well, hey, can we get that on a shirt? Phil doesn't produce anything.
Phil doesn't produce anything entertaining.
Rough, dude. Rough.
Oh my God, I'm a dick. Let's bring this into the station. James Gavsey, who we shouting out for tonight?
Sweet Baby Jesus.
Okay.
And we're shouting out the Who Would Win Show. You can find us on every social media platform. Just look up at Who Would Win Show or even at James Gavsey. Find us on Facebook and all that kind of good stuff. We're growing the fan base, which we love. And we have an episode coming out every Wednesday. This episode for this week is the Green Goblin versus a character named Guts from the animated series or anime series called Berserk. It's going to be an insane show. And tune in for that and let us know what you think about the episode.
The live crowd is too busy recoiling at the horror that I unleashed on Phil. I'm sorry, Phil. I really didn't.
Another great shirt could be I got run over by Mark's chair and I survived.
Where
I got
Emma
run
was
over by Mark's chair, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
Right.
Yeah.
You need the Emma was
And head
right
trauma.
T-shirt.
Phil, go ahead, shout it out.
All right. Well, first things first. I know we don't have time to do what we got in, but I just had to show this to get the groans.
Oh God, I can smell it from here.
But it goes real good with this. So
That's cool. Hey, that's cool. Was there a big line to get that trash can Snake Eyes figure?
actually, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it's Super 7. They have a whole booth full of like 30, 40 items.
Were people actually buying that piece of garbage?
Well, I did so there was at least one.
You have to buy it though, right, Phil?
Kind of.
For what you do, you have to buy it.
Yeah. Shout outs though. Always to Patrick Stewart, my other half on Articulated Points. We again watch our video we put out yesterday. It's both of us this time, which is exceedingly rare in what we're doing. But
That is the weird one.
yeah. And also to Diana Cullen, Paloma and Splash Davis for helping me get to San Diego Comic-Con and being my Airbnb buddies. And Paloma apparently is very much missing me these days. So,
No love for the cat? Come on now.
the cat wasn't there.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Yeah. So there we are.
Mark Weber.
I want to give a shout out to the Hasbro Pulse. Like all you other collectors out there, I'm a collector too, and been kind of a rough month for the Weber wallet. I don't know about the rest of you. If you feel stretched a little thin, I can't wait till the 1st of August, as in when I have money again.
Right.
Pulling a dozen pre-orders the week before Comic-Con.
Kind of tough. So, but I'm new to the whole. What's the special level of customer for Premier or VIP, whatever?
Premium.
Yeah, I'm a premium guy because I got tired of missing out on the first available stuff. So I finally bit the bullet and became that this year. And what that does apparently is when they try to charge you for something and there isn't enough money in your account, they send you an email that says, hey, looks like something went kind of awry. Please check into it within 5 days, which seems reasonable, right? Okay, fine. They probably got other people waiting to buy it. So yeah, 5 days, fix it. What's weird is when they send you an email 22 hours later that says, we have canceled your item for lack of payment.
Ooh.
Pretty cool. So I don't know if everybody gets that treatment or if that's just specific to ex-Hasbro employees. But I'd be madder about it if the same item wasn't available at Big Bad, who has never treated me poorly. So Big Bad Toy Store advantage you, and Hasbro Pulse is kind of garbage, man. I mean, it didn't hurt me. I got the same thing at basically the same price, but I don't know. Maybe get your shit together. Love, Mark.
Starting to hear more stories that way, and which is trending the wrong way. You know, a couple of years ago, we never heard those kind of horror stories from Hasbro Pulse stuff, but maybe it's as things get bigger, maybe that's more of the problem.
I mean, I've pubbed up Hasbro customer service before because it's always, I've never had a bad experience.
Yeah.
Right. But how are you going to send an email that says, check into this within the next 5 days? And I'm like, cool, because I'm an adult and I have other things to do, even though toys are important in my life. Right. And hey, 5 days, let me do the math. Cool. That's after August 1st. I'll have more money. Right. They kind of know that they bombed everybody's wallet, right? Or they should.
Right.
Just, I don't know. It felt Bush League. But what do I know?
What else we got, Mark Weber?
That's enough, right?
You would think, right?
Yeah, moving on.
All right. Dustin Jeffrey says that his shout out is to Dr. Saxo, the rock and roll cat, who is doing fine, by the way.
Meow. 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 Meow.
I almost forgot. Let me grab the mic back just for a sec. It was the Wristlock West Whitlock's birthday on Sunday. Happy
There you
birthday.
go. Happy birthday to the wrist lock.
Yeah. That's it. I'm done.
Okay. All right. Give a shout out to Racktime Rob on the mend. He should be back next week if we let him. Maybe Phil just gets to move in. Who knows? Shout out to Phil for providing over 10,000 photos, which are all provided on our Instagram account at What's on Joe Mind. Be sure to head over, check them out. If you wanted to know anything about what was going on with G.I. Joe stuff in the Hasbro booth and the Super 7 booth and the Mezco, if it was G.I. Yeah, if it was G.I. Joe and it was at San Diego, Phil took pictures of it, and it's on our Instagram. So thank you, Phil, for driving traffic to our Instagram, and of course to a -1 subscriber count over the course of the weekend. We did better on it. We did better on Instagram, but the YouTube translation didn't happen. That's all right. That's fine. We will house all of your hard work. Give a shout out to the folks over at Roma Collectibles, of course, for everything they've got going on. Everybody, remember, get to the toy department in Cincinnati Saturday, because all proceeds go to the Roma Collectibles Aaron Dietrich's cancer fight. Want to give a shout out to our wonderful friends and sponsors at Kokomo Toys. Real quick, we'll sing the theme song. Kokomo Toys. Kokomo Toys. Didn't hear you too much on that one, Gavsy. We'll try again next time.
Next time.
Want to give shout out to our special guest, James Gavsy of Who Would Win podcast.
Thank you for having me. Very cool.
There you go. 3 hours. We'll do it live. Oh my God, the things you must think. And of course, to the honcho Mark Weber, here every week, except for last week when he decided, nah, I don't want to do a show without everybody else. But that's cool. I appreciate that, actually.
Yeah, come on. It took the night off. It was nice.
The dog didn't get rolled over.
I'm not saying that didn't happen. I'm just saying that didn't happen live on camera. No, that was the weird part. She never lays down there. So I never worry about it. It's never happened before.
Right.
I don't know what she was doing.
Because as we've determined, you are the dog. You are the dog's fourth favorite human.
Right. What do you tell a dog with a hurt paw? Nothing. You already told her.
Ooh.
Ooh. Boo. Boo. Hey, Jim on Sports. Boo.
Fine. I probably earned that. Whatever.
That's all right. As our friend Vagon likes to say, hey, stay safe. And if you can't, be careful. Let's go ahead and get the hell on out of here. It's after midnight Eastern time. I think this is a record, James Gavsy. I think you have the record for longest regular episode of What's on Joe Mind in the YouTube era.
Listen, breaking records is a good thing. I love
you go back to the audio only days. We did have an episode that broke in at longer than 5 hours, so we'd have a way to go.
Ooh.
But that's just what we did back then. Anyhow, we're not young men anymore, and it's time for us to go to bed. So be sure to join us next Tuesday at 9 p.m. We do have a guest lined up. I don't have it confirmed yet, so I won't spill the beans just yet. We should have a return of Racktime Rob, a departure of Phil Donnelly as he gets to finally catch up on some sleep.
He should leave after what you said about him. Jeez.
I'm going to get a visit from Pat Stewart. He's going to kick the door in and just punch me in the face a few times. But,
Well deserved.
Right. I look, I can't disagree with that. But anyways, that's it. Again, we'll be back next Tuesday at 9 for another episode of What's on Joe Mind. Have a great rest of the week. Stay safe, be careful, and yo, Joe.
Beer.